ship, pumping and dumping, manipulate the market, flood it from the darknet, flood it from the deep web, keep it a secret. Every exchange got the nerdy brains trading on the frequent.
And we are here. Okay, it's been a while. uh, Give me a moment here. I'm just making sure all the audio is correct. I'm sorry, I had to put it down to the lower audio mode because the previous audio mode that worked now absorbs too much noise. So just give me a bit. Okay, I think this will be good for what we need to do today. My crazy hair. Hello, everyone out there on the interwebs. Welcome to the DCG 201 live stream. Who am I and what is this? I am Sidepocket. That's what people refer to me on the interwebs. I'm one of the two original co-founders of DCG 201, formerly known as DEF CON 201 or DC 201. We are one of the many computer hacker groups under the DEF CON banner stretching across the United States and around the globe. The numbers at the end stand for the area code. So we are the New Jersey one, specifically located in Jersey City, New Jersey. Currently, again, we're still working on stuff with the website. I really hope that just because I've been doing a lot of in real life personal stuff, that this week we can get the website reestablished and everything after I go through a bunch of stuff, which hopefully the next time you see me live stream, I will give you kind of a bit more details about why things have been kind of crazy for the first half of the year in terms of sporadic live stream times. I can tell you that we started late tonight simply just because this is going to be a long topic. I don't know if it's going to be a long stream, but it's going to be a long topic. And provided that the giant fly in the room does not bug the fuck out of me, I didn't mean to say bug as a joke, but I guess now it is. Um, that I just had so much stuff to change and update that's what's going on. Another thing, by the way, real quick, was that I'm still working on having a little window that shows all the places you can donate cryptocurrency to DCG 201, but it took more editing than I thought. So the next crypto barons you're going to see that will have all of that information on there. But in the meantime, as I go to do a last minute cleaning of my glasses, if you want to kind of check us out and see what we're about and stuff while our website is currently going through the motions, I direct you over to our Medium blog, which I'm going to post in chat now. We have a bunch of stuff there. Very soon, we're going to have two. It's interesting. Why did the Discord fail? Is that like a consistent? Okay, now the Discord works. But we're gonna have two particular unique things on our blog very soon. One of those is going to be, which is something we've been working on for a while, or more specifically, I've been working on, is a guide. Um, we did one for sex workers. It was really positively received. God, why does my nose always go nuts when I try to live stream? Anyhow, um, and we've been meaning to do more guides like that. And so we're going to be doing a very big one on activism, on if you are going out to any of the protests of any of like the crazy stuff going around that's taking people's lives, whether it's the whole Roe v. Wade thing, whether it's still the continue of minority abuse across the United States, the economy, whatever. We plan on posting a guide of how, from a hacker's perspective, on that angle, just practical, physical, and technological tips if you're going to go out there with signs protesting what you need to do in a completely peaceful manner, and also even though we're not lawyers, like resources for like legal things around that are beyond our scope. So that's one thing. The second thing is last year, if I remember correctly, or it's at least it's either in 2020 or 2021, I made a modified version of Firefox that basically acts as what I call a red team browser, which is when you do like I capture the flag stuff. There's usually a category with involving websites, breaking websites, and I developed a version of Firefox that has a lot of unique tools and resources and modifications that just allows you to kind of do it automatically. I revamped it very recently, and I'm going to do a blog explaining what those modifications are, how these modifications and extensions work, as well as then a folder link so you can drag and drop it into a Firefox profile and instantly load the browser. So that's two things that you'll eventually see on our blog, as well as details about our meeting. I can tell you right now that the plan is that we currently plan to announce the meeting on the 20th, like all the details for that, and then have the meeting on the 27th. Originally, we were going to do our DCG 201 meeting on the 20th, but there's that fly, everyone who wants to be involved needs more time. I'm going to kill that thing. Ah, we literally have a bug in the system. Of course, I look away and I lose track of it, just like in real life bug bounties. But yeah, so if you ever, by the way, just see me like just run up and like spray and you hear pound, that's me killing the goddamn fly. Uh, because I'm like weirdly ADHD paranoid about all that shit. Even though I don't have ADHD, probably bad analogy. I'm just very paranoid about that stuff. But anyhow, what was I getting to? So yeah, our meeting's going to be on the 27th now if everything goes well, and we're going to announce all the details on the 20th just because all of our partners for that meeting need more time. If you want to keep up to date, in addition to our blog, we have multiple social media links. You can follow us. Our big two ones are on Twitter at DEFCON201NJ and DEFCON201 on Instagram, although we are also on GitHub and Minds.com and the hostducks.social instance of Mastodon and all of that type of stuff. Um, Finally, if you like the content that you are currently seeing right now, please like, share, subscribe on Twitch, D Live, or YouTube. Those are our three main platforms. If you do we can do it anytime, but if you do it while we're broadcasting, um, we get notifications for those, and we love like shouting people out and cheering people on. We are also on a couple of other broadcasts, such as Diodes PeerTube, which is the instance we're using as Diode Zone because they're absolutely awesome people. We also are broadcasting on Facebook, which, you have to kind of go where the people are going. If you are on Facebook and you want to chat with us, because I also love an interactive chat, you don't have to interact. If you're just here to learn, as I always say, keep lurking, keep learning. But I love talking to people, whether it's about the subjects we're talking about or what's going on at DCG 201, hacking shit, my crazy hair and stuff. But if you are on Facebook and you want to chat, Facebook is, as you know from using it, really goddamn stupid. So there's kind of like a legal hack you have to do in order to properly chat with us. So I'm posting that link right now in the main chat for you to use. It's chat.restream uh, restream.io/FB. And then lastly, even though we don't use it as much, we mainly use this for CTF stuff, and we're gonna be doing a lot more CTF stuff this year, and hopefully by I want to say November or December, probably December, we're gonna finally have our own CTF, which is gonna be great. But if you just want to reach out to us and chat, and I'm trying to get more involved on it until we figure out our IRC, here's also a link to our Discord. So, what is this show and what we're going to be talking about? Well, first of all, because we're actually going to get to financial stuff for once in this episode, we've been doing Crypto Barons now for 2 years. This is like basically, I think our very soon it's going to be our 2 year anniversary. And I've never had to do this warning, but I'm going to do it now, which is that I am not a financial advisor, I'm not a banker, I'm not an investor or anything. So I plan on, with Crypto Barons, not giving any financial advice, um, including in this episode. But if you interpret anything that I say as financial advice, don't, because I'm just basically as broke as you guys all are. But basically, in addition to live streaming parts of our meetups, we also stream a bunch of different things. Sometimes we have specials. We're going to be having a couple of specials this month, later on in the month. And we also have a bunch of ongoing shows. Some of them are on hiatus, some of them are being reborn. And our two longest ones are probably my two shows. One of them is Master of Unlocking, where I teach people about locks and physical security and how to do lock picking and bypass. And this is the other show, Crypto Barons, as it says in the. How do I point towards? There we go. Crypto Barons. I keep forgetting it's in reverse. Where we look at cryptocurrency and let's scoot this forward. Cryptocurrency and blockchain technologies as technologies. Um, in short, I'm very early on very interested in cryptocurrency and blockchains and smart contracts and DeFi and all that stuff. But I'm very much into it for like the tech and the technological implications of it. And unfortunately, when you try to search up almost any subject on cryptocurrency or blockchains, you get nothing but financial advice. Which is kind of important, but still, and like snake oil salesman stuff, maybe stuff about community. You rarely get stuff about the technology around it, like if there's a GitHub, can we look at the code? Is there a wallet? Can we run it? Is there a test net? Let's run the test nets. Let's try to connect to the mainnet. How does any of this stuff work? So what makes this unique? Is there any interesting math involved? Let's take a look at the white paper. Things like that. And that's what this show is about as I get paranoid about the fly. I have an odd feeling I'm going to kill that fly on the stream. So we're doing a bunch of these episodes, and as I've said in the past, Crypto Barons is the opposite of Master of Unlocking, in which not only do I have an endless amount of topics for this show, but my favorite is when I try to schedule a topic and then a new topic happens in which I either have to now incorporate that topic into the current format or delay the current topic for a later date and cover the thing that just happened. Thankfully, this was one of those episodes where I was like, okay, there's could be multiple different things I could do here, and then all of the obvious news happens, and that's what we're going to get into in this episode. Our main topic today is going to be about the crypto crash. You probably have heard of it. You probably have seen all the meltdowns around it and everything, and you're probably wondering like what it is and how did this happen? How did this affect me? And give me one second here. And that's exactly just updating Ubuntu in the background. And that's exactly what we're going to get into on this episode today. In particular, we're going to look at what was it's kind of like, like in World War One, where there was so much contributing factors to it, but like the now the fly is on the computer. Great. Well, hope I don't kill this. Yep, he's dying. Hold on a moment. Sorry for exiting out of the spiel. I just have to go literally root a bug out of my system. Now I just lost my. Oh, hi. Stand get still. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, you're really playing hard to get here. Oh, here we go. That's good. It is dead. I killed it. It is gone. All right. Now we can do this stream without any distractions. Yay. So for once on Crypto Barons, you just saw me actually rectify a bug live on stream. Although now I have to clean up a bit here. Freaking chemicals I'm probably going to be breathing in and slowly dying from. So what were we talking about again? Oh yeah, we're going to be concentrating on the cryptocurrency crash. We're going to look at how all this went down, and particularly in the same way how while there were many contributing factors, for example, for World War One, but like the linchpin that set it off was like the assassination of Franz Ferdinand. There are many different factors, including stuff we've been talking about for a couple of episodes about why this crypto crash, the biggest one yet, has happened. But we're going to particularly look at the linchpin of it that it seems to be, which is a stablecoin platform called Terra and its native coin Luna, and how it was presented, how it was built, how it was created. We're going to take a look at some code. We might even be able to run stuff. And then we're going to get into how it impacted the market in such a way that everything's on fire and every person that owns any sort of cryptocurrency whatsoever is now that dog sitting in that room on fire going, this is fine. That's what we're going to look at today. We're also going to look at something really special that's also very relevant, but yeah, let's just get right into this. Transition here. So this is our like main whatchamacallit. This is our main kind of blog here. It's a link that I sent above. But before we get into our main topic, I want to bring up something here. So this is very recent. Now, even if you don't live in the United States, this is probably going to impact your country because unfortunately, when we do good and stupid shit in this country, it tends to affect all the other countries. It's not me being like a elitist American. It's literally that's how that works. It's kind of like how back in the day, every time the British Empire did anything, it affected everyone else, or the Roman Empire, crap like that. It sucks. Um, but you're probably familiar with that. There was a major whistleblowing leak, so yay for whistleblowers. And in that leak, um, came from the Supreme Court, where the leak originated from. I also love how the alarm for our government is trying to find and condemn and arrest the leaker instead of the content of the leak, which is damning, which shows that the Supreme Court is trying to do a terrible decision where they want to overturn Roe v. Wade. For those of you who aren't familiar, Roe v. Wade was an infamous court case that argued that well, archaic definitions, a woman, but because we've now expanded a lot of our education on the human condition since then, that people who have uteruses and vaginas and can thus reproduce, that those people, um, if complications arrive, can get an abortion where they get to terminate the fetus in order to save their life. Um, or over in order to live a life, all sorts of stuff right there. But that it mainly argued that it was not only a right to people federally in the country, but also that, and this is the main kicker, that it was a privacy right. And the courts agreed, and everything's been pretty cool since. It's always good to have options and choices, even if somehow, like for example, our elections aren't the best options. And the whistleblowing leak that came out of the Supreme Court, basically they want to overthrow that, which means basically the federal government can't enforce that right to privacy anymore, and thus it's up to the states. And considering how the states are, where Texas and Rhode Island, a bunch of other states are in a sad ass three-legged race on who can ruin their own state the fastest. Things aren't going towards well. Basically, it's kind of pointing to Civil War type 2, Civil War Part 2, Electric Boogaloo, that sort of crap. And I want to mention this because it's not just because a lot of people just think, oh, this is just about abortions, this is just about vaginas and women and stuff. The way they're going to, in the whistleblowing, overturn the leak, is in the leak, how they're going to overturn Roe v. Wade. It's written so incredibly poorly, and don't worry, we're going to get to how this is relevant to cryptocurrency in a moment, that it basically opens the door for them to kill a ton of other um, laws and rights that we have. So basically, if you don't think Roe v. Wade and the overturning of it is going to affect you, think again, it will. I'll give you a base thing of how it's going to affect me. Um, if you haven't noticed, I have brown skin and very curly, poofy hair. I'm half black and half Polish, half African American, half Polish. And literally, by overturning Roe v. Wade and the way how vaguely they did it, when they overturn Roe v. Wade, they're also going to overturn a bunch of other court cases that basically makes interracial couplings, marriages, and offsprings illegal. And I was the result of an interracial coupling. So, for example, after overturning Roe v. Wade, even though I have a ding dong and I don't have a vagina and I can't get an abortion, although that would be really fascinating, and I would totally donate myself to both science and Ripley's Believe It or Not for that. Let me take a sip of water for, people's rights. Let's say I go to a state like Texas after Roe v. Wade is overturned. Texas authorities, such as their National Guard and their police, could arrest and detain me, and then argue to the federal government that because Roe v. Wade and these other court cases were overturned, including interracial couplings, that my existence is illegal, and that basically I have no rights and no citizenship in the jurisdiction of Texas or any other state where they successfully have repelled all of those. And I'll either be at best shipped back to New Jersey or be hanging from a tree somewhere. That's literally part of this. Never mind that also with how vague they worded this, because Roe v. Wade's main argument was for a privacy right, this will now allow them to bolden blatantly up all the way up to the Supreme Court overturn all privacy rights. So every single potential digital right that you have in the United States as a human being living in this country, every sort of right, that you have, including arguments against amendments. So, like the Fourth Amendment, the 16th Amendment, things like that, will now be able to easily argue and overturned because of the Supreme Court being dipshits. And also, which is interesting, is because of all of this, there is now groups of hackers and computer people who have vowed not to go to conventions for both not only moral reasons but for their own safety, because a lot of them are women or are married to women or people who have uteruses, to states that have these rights overturned. So by abandoning the federal rights for this, if you are a hacker convention or a security convention in Texas or Florida or Tennessee or Louisiana or any of these states that are going to overturn stuff, um, you're going to probably see a huge dip in numbers of attendance, and you might suffer and or go under as a convention. So again, if you don't think this is going to somehow affect you, it is. This should concern everybody. How does this concern cryptocurrency? Well, this is a fascinating rabbit hole because when this news was happening, I was wondering, I wonder if there's been any cryptocurrency or blockchain stuff involving Roe v. Wade, pro-life, pro-choice debate. It's not really to me a debate, and abortion and things like that. Well, years ago, and I remember this because I'm an agnostic atheist, and this was put around everywhere. There was a terrible, really bad film that came out in 2020 because, 2020 is the dumpster fire that keeps on giving. That was actually called Roe v. Wade. It was made by a famous Hollywood actor named Nick Loeb, who's one of those Hollywood actors who's like kind of a floating between a C to B tier list celebrity, but kind of got noted because of like, they're super into some bullshit. In this case, he's like super hardcore Christian. It's like he's like Kirk Cameron, if you are familiar with that. Or like, some all the major celebrities that are Scientologists and shit, or like weird Buddhists like Steven Seagal. Nick Loeb is one of those like celebrities. And basically they made a what do you call it, a reenactment documentary about how Roe versus Wade was made, but instead of just like, showing the people who they were and how they're cast, is heavily slanted not just pro-life, aka anti-abortion, or really anti-women or anti-uterus and anti-privacy by extension, but really slanted towards like not even just Christian values, but like hardcore evangelical Christian values, like the Puritans that founded this country type of stuff. And they greatly exaggerated things and they made things up. And as it says, film stars predominantly a conservative ensemble cast, wherever the fuck that means. I guess that means if you launch a grenade there, we will actually have the future of flying cars and stuff like that. This movie came out a bunch of years ago, and most people didn't really think much of it. Again, it was really bad. It got really poor reviews. It's bad when even in Christian publications it got poor reviews because it's really awful. If you are interested in seeing it, I don't recommend buying the film. All I will say is that while I don't endorse piracy, the Pirate Bay it still exists as a mirroring system, so I'm pretty sure if you know where to look, you should be able to get it without giving these assholes any of your dimes or coins. But if you want a humorous recap take of these terrible movies, Cinema Snob over at Stone Gremlin Productions has, in his hilarious deadpan style, kind of an overview of the film with footage. And then the people at God Awful Movies, who review terrible Christian films and religious propaganda in general, did a hilarious like 2 hour long podcast just like absolutely eviscerating this movie and how bad it is both as a movie and a piece of propaganda, never mind a piece of Christian propaganda. So again, you're probably wondering, how does this involve cryptocurrency? Well, here's something that I did not realize about this film, because I remember when it came out and I obtained it somehow, let's put it that way, and watched it with a bunch of friends, including some of my fellow Christian friends who were already sharpening sticks towards this film, and we were all drinking and laughing our asses off of how bad it is, right? What I didn't know is how this film got made, because I figured that some sort of like major church or some film group that is fronted by a church, like how Blue Sky made those terrible Left Behind films from the terrible Left Behind book, like just bankrolled this propaganda machery, you know? That's what I assumed it was. But it actually gets really crazy. So unbeknownst to me, in addition to Nick Loeb being an actor and a crazy Christian fucknut, he is also a crypto bro. And so when I went to search for cryptocurrency and blockchain related stuff to abortion rights and the pro choice pro life argument Roe v. Wade, and that's him by the way. This is look how that is a stone face by the way. Um I was shocked to find out that in addition to raising money on GoFundMe, that the rest of the film was financed by cryptocurrency. He apparently turned to it in addition to being a crypto bro because of like, you know, obviously like even among Christians, this everyone's like, what the fuck are you doing? And so like Facebook would take off his GoFundMe link. GoFundMe kept arguing with him and stuff. So he's like, well, cryptocurrency, the government, this is back then. The government can't really track it and crap like that. And I want to just stuff my mattress full of money. I'm going to do it. But he didn't like set up a Bitcoin wallet or something or a Monero wallet and then ask for donations. Oh, no, 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 no. No. He funded over half of his film by making his own coin. That's right. He went to the LCX network, which is a type of like networking, like a blockchain platform. And he made RVW coin, which stands for Roe V Wade coin. And basically, when you mint these coins, it's supposed to be like, you ever see that thing where it's like, hey, you know, if you donate for my Kickstarter for this movie, you get like a prop from the movie or like a certificate that you donated or like one slice of the film. This was his bullshit idea that, hey, if you donate this coin, your coin's basically an NFT, pseudo NFT that you helped finance my crazy Christian propaganda. Um, and that's what he did. And yeah, the website is still here. I know I'm not signing up for it. This is an actual thing that exists. Let's load up the PDF. Let's load up the PDF if we can and take a look at this craziness, and then we'll get to the main topic here. They have a token issuer system. 5 million subordinated tokenized bonds. So each coin represents a bond towards the film and it's a stable coin because its nominal value is $1 each, $1 USD each, represented by RVW tokens. Name tokens RVW tokens RVW or $ RVW, which are not assigned until they are all registered. So yeah, they actually made their own commemorative cryptocurrency tokens and funded this crazy piece of propaganda. And the crazy part about it is it worked. As we can read here on this topic, LCX facilitated the RVW security token sale at the exclusive technological blockchain service provider in Q4 2020. The RVW token was issued and sold by RVW Limited at LCX is a regulated and compliant trusted technology service provider and granted blah blah blah. One of these roles tokens called Token Generator RCX offers smart contract development for utility tokens, governance tokens, security tokens, and anything from tokenized website. Lots of token. For Roe v. Wade movie, LCX has created the RVW token and manages the audio in collaboration with Certic. And then they closed the sale on it. And apparently, all the investors, let's see here, they got entire return on their investment, the full 20% annual yield plus special bonus. The movie premiered on April 2nd, 2021. And yeah, this actually worked. So basically, thanks to someone making their own tokenized cryptocurrency coin, they managed to finance a crazy piece of propaganda that people on the Supreme Court saw, because I guarantee that they saw this, and helped their decision to take away rights for abortions, rights for a ton of other Americans, and trying to kill all forms of privacy in the United States as we know it. So, in short, if you were already like skeptical of cryptocurrency or like you were mad about what it's turned into or you just hated it from the beginning, this is just that little extra bit of like dirt in your eye um, of one of the ways that unfortunately cryptocurrency made things worse for everyone, people in the United States, and since a lot of people mimic our systems, because I'll put it this way, right now in the UK, anti-abortion people from both the Labour Party and the Tory parties are on the rise in reaction to what we're doing here. South American countries have rose up. In fact, someone in, and this is how bad this is going to get in this country if it's approved. Rwanda's been doing this for a while, and a lot of our states in this country in the United States are trying to base things not off of Rwanda, are base things off of El Salvador. And in El Salvador, they just sentenced a woman to 30 years in prison for miscarrying. Something that literally naturally happens. You could even argue that God just went, you know what? I changed my mind. This child's not being born. And they punished her. They threw her in jail for 30 years. Something that you would imagine like murdering your entire family. They just they put it for a woman. It's like being fined a $10,000 in community service for taking a shit, you know. And this is what we're kind of heading towards. And cryptocurrency, unfortunately, in this case, helped out with that because that's what you get when everything is open source and decentralized. Ask a lot of the stuff that's going on in the war in the Ukraine right now, where there's a lot of people. The Ukrainians are trying to use open source technology to develop better encrypted communication so they can survive the Russian invasion, and the Russians are using open source stuff in order to kill Ukrainians, Russians, and other people. So like that's what you get, unfortunately, with all of this. So before we get into our main topic, how if you are because I just don't want to shit on cryptocurrency all day, even though I could. Let's say you are for cryptocurrency and blockchain, and you're seeing this, and you're also for privacy rights and the right for a person with a uterus to choose their life that is inside of them and comes out of them and stuff, and you're angry that someone took your favorite thing and just smeared shit all over it. What can you do? I'm going to share what you can do here. Outside of also just going out and protesting, and you can find the relative hashtags right now, there is an awesome organization that I found that's called the Medical Students for Choice. As you can see, they also support BLM, and basically, they are pro-choice, and their whole stance is not only they basically want to put out actual accurate information, both good and bad, about abortions. They don't sugarcoat anything, and they train medical professionals who are entering into human health and reproductive health on what abortions are, how to properly diagnose it to determine if their patient needs one, and how to actually perform one, all that jazz. It's the whole thing. It's, everything that you think of, and I'm just using this term as a shorthand, Planned Parenthood do. This is what this organization tries to uphold. And while they normally only take fiat money as donations. They are partnered with a group that we have covered before called the Giving Block, which is an amazing. It's like one of, if not the only best thing that's come out of like cryptocurrency in like the past couple of years. They are a format that basically as I said in the episode, they partner with major charity organizations, so that way, as a third party, they can accept cryptocurrency. So they take the cryptocurrency and turn to fiat and they give it to the charity that's donated and they act as the middleman basically. So that way charities don't have to like waste time trying to set up all their own stuff and all the legal things around it. So if you are mad about the current state of America with Roe v. Wade attempting to be overturned and trying to set this country back 8 billion years, we're basically going to live in the fucking Middle Ages, but hey, at least we have fucking Monero. And you're mad that Christian propagandists have been using cryptocurrency to fund their propaganda and thus influence groups like the Supreme Court. And you want to instead use your cryptocurrency for good to give people rights and choices in this country. I was trying to put this as a banner, but throughout this entire stream, I'm going to post the link to the giving block so you can donate your cryptocurrency of choice. They support a ton of them, including all the major popular ones, to the Medical Students for Choice. And that way, we can actually use this tech for something good instead of all the Elon Musk stands who are basically either using it to shove money into their mattresses and yell at other people, fuck you, I got mine, and making everything as miserable as Bill Gates did in the 90s. So that went on for a little bit longer than I thought. So let's go from one dumpster fire from Roe v. Wade to the main dumpster fire of today's episode. And that is going to be the cryptocurrency crash. And what we're going to cover today is we're going to cover Terra, sometimes called Terra Luna because they often lumped, and we're going to look at that too, their main coin, which is called Luna, what Terra is, how it works. We might even run some programs, and then we're going to kind of get into near the end of how Terra basically blew a giant hole in the entire blockchain cryptocurrency market and why everything's falling like a stone and what the potential outcome could be of all of this. So just give me a moment here. I just want to check something. All right. Okay, that's adjusted. Okay. And yeah, so let's get right into it. So this is the main website for Terra. I'll share it in chat over here. It's Terra.money. That's one hell of a URL right there. And basically, from what I understand, Terra is it's not it's a blockchain protocol. And basically it is a protocol that is a whole set of different algorithms that makes, and I think this is hilarious wording, decentralized stablecoins. That's funny for multiple reasons, but let me explain kind of what this is, and then we're going to watch two videos on the subject. So an episode that we were hoping to do before this was going to cover stablecoin. So what is a stablecoin? Well, if you look at the original Satoshi papers and what like the traditional classic cryptocurrency stuff from back in the day, the whole main tenet of things like Bitcoin is the fact that there's not supposed to be, and let me adjust the camera microphone. There we go. There is not supposed to be any sort of centralized bank or major person with funds or whatever that runs the whole cryptocurrency market. It's supposed to be that each coin kind of exists on its own island. If you don't like that coin, you can, since it's open source, you can make your own coins, which is why there's 8 billion different types of cryptocurrency and blockchain technologies out there. And that's how the whole shebang runs. Obviously, there's a lot of immediate upsides to decentralization. You know, the fact that, a couple of, it's supposed to be at least, because there's a problem with all of this, that a bunch of institutions, that like 3 banks or whatever can't control the entire market is, for example, more privacy and control for the user ends and stuff like that. But there's also major disadvantages, which is as much as people, for example, want to bitch about this when it comes to, hang on, my brain's dying. And I might actually take a break after we watch the 2 videos, and then we'll get right into this because this is going to be we're going to be covering a lot. That's kind of the themes of the past couple episodes. We keep covering a lot. But that as much as a lot of crypto bros bitch about this, there's a reason why we have regulation and everything. Now, there's the argument to be made of that how much is too much regulation? Like, how much regulation do you need in which subjects, Obviously, for example, like in my example, it's like to me, yeah, we should be regulating a lot with cars. Cars are a 1-ton piece of metal traveling at high speeds. There's a lot that could go wrong there, which is why cars have to be built correctly and why people have to maintain their cars so they don't break down. And thus that reduces accidents and problems and the mortality rate for both the driver and the pedestrians and things like that. But then there's also, like, for example, any sort of regulations over a woman's uterus, hence Roe v. Wade. And that's something, or less regulation, or more regulation for rights instead of taking away from rights, would be a good idea to do. And it's the same thing with financial markets, where you could debate how much regulation you need, but in some degree, just like in real life society, there's a give and take between the freedoms you're allowed to do with stuff and the sort of like when your freedoms are going to now violate other people's. God, my nose is crazy. Other people's freedoms, and thus this is where regulation comes in. And crypto bros mainly are like, oh no, regulation, no, I want everything to be deregulated. And then when you ask them opinions about things, they want like regulations all the time. Like, like they're always the ones who are like, no, I don't want to, it's all the fucking cops and stuff. And as soon as the problems happen, they pay the cops to do things, which is regulation. Like that's how that happens. The same way how like Elon Musk keeps talking about freedom of speech on Twitter, but like if you look how he handles Tesla, if you have any other opinion about Tesla besides that he is the God King, you're banned. Free speech. So that's a whole thing with, that where we need a degree of regulation when it comes to markets, see fiat money. And so the idea of stable coins were created. And stable coins idea is that, or at least the initial idea, is that these coins are supposed to you basically are supposed to do a bunch of mathematical and market measures so that these coins represent the closest to what the value of actual fiat money is. So for example, there's a stable coin called USD coin. Its goal is it wants to be the official cryptocurrency. It's currently the unofficial cryptocurrency for the US dollar, which means they do a bunch of regulatory stuff and mathematics, so that way a USD coin exactly equals whatever $1 is worth in the global market in the United States. Hence why it's considered stable. It doesn't do what like Bitcoin does, where one Bitcoin is now $1 billion, and well, it was, and then like now it's worth like minus 5 million because of the crash. It's supposed to be equal to whatever fiat currently is doing, hence why it's stable. Of course, fiat currencies can also be disabled. I see Venezuela and stuff like that, but you see what I'm talking about. Now, what's fascinating about this, and we're going to learn a bit more in a moment with these terrible videos, is that most stable coins are stable because one, they're centralized, so they're not decentralized like a lot of the earlier cryptocurrencies are. They are centralized and controlled. The other thing about them is that they usually are based in the currency that they're mimicking. So, for example, USD coin is called that because it's based after USD, or the United States dollar, and it mirrors that kind of the same way how paper money used to be a mirror of the gold standard. It's using basically our current USD as the crypto standard for its coin. Terra is different because instead it's using a backing of Bitcoin and a bunch of other math, including the Alpha protocol, if I remember correctly. Is that what it's called? My brain just died. The Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Because we're going to cover that in a future episode. That was originally what we're going to cover today, and then all this happened, of course, over the course of the week. But yeah, what it does is that they have a backing of Bitcoin, which then they do a bunch of algorithmic stuff, including I think it's called the Alpha Protocol, in order to stabilize it. So instead of basing it directly off of fiat, it kind of makes like a pseudo fiat standard using math and existing cryptocurrency. But again, I'm a half-tired schmuck who is trying to describe this clumsily. Let's look at two videos about the subject. Now, these come from Terra itself. Now, and I warn that because we have covered videos in the past of different cryptocurrency and blockchain organizations. And a lot of people always ask me, well, why do you cover it? Because a lot of times they're just so obviously marketing plays and propaganda. But one, in addition to explaining what's going on, it's good because it lets you kind of know how they see themselves and how they want the public to see themselves. It's like a social engineering thing. It's like we're trying to get into their mindset of like what they're trying to accomplish on a visual front. So we're going to watch two videos. The first video is going to be, which I ripped off the website, a documentary about, which is going to also feature the guy who you're going to see later on because he's part of the reason why the crash happened. Who is one of the main players, or the main player of making Terra, on why he made Terra and sort of like the philosophy of the Terra system. And then we're going to go into a bit more detail in how Terra works. Then we're going to look about a bunch of stuff that's attached to Terra. We're going to look at the coding of it. of its mainnet, of its wallets and such, and then we're going to go right into how this crash starts. So we're going to look at 2 videos, then I'm going to take a short break, I'm going to rehydrate, I'm going to blow all the snot that keeps trying to come out of my nose for no reason, and then we're going to go right into coding stuff and explaining the crash. Okay, let's watch this first video we have queued up here. There we go. I'll put my headphones on for this. And unless something ridiculous happens, we're going to watch this all the way through, and I'm going to comment at the end, so I'm not going to do little blocks. So the first one is the longest one. I think it's like 7 or 8 minutes. So let's hear from the founders of Terra, let's move this like that. The founders of Terra, of what the hell they view their own product as. Here we go.
Creating a decentralized form of money on which you can build this financial ecosystem is the holy grail of cryptocurrency. And that's exactly what Terra does. I first got into crypto in late 2016. What was the most interesting to me was that in an industry that calls itself the cryptocurrency industry, there was literally nobody working on creating a better form of money. People just took for granted that Bitcoin was peer-to-peer electronic cash, Ethereum was programmable money, and they never questioned whether these assets were actually useful as money. I started to think about what is a type of cryptocurrency that would actually be usable in the real world.
Fancy.
Terra creates a decentralized money, which is easier to spend, more attractive to hold and invest than other types of fiat money or Bitcoin.
We all got a negative.
One of the biggest problems that we're witnessing across the world is massive inflation. We're seeing 5% inflation in the developed world, but at the same time, the yields that people are getting in commercial savings accounts is 0.05%. By having a permissionless form of money, and a permissionless financial system built on top of it, you can start to give people real yield that doesn't erode the value of your household savings.
There are 3 main apps or protocols in the Terra ecosystem: Anchor for savings, Mirror for investing, and Chai for payments.
You can think of Anchor as a bank on blockchain. Anchor gives you 20% interest rate per year, which is far superior than any other banks, basically just unheard of. We basically removed all the middlemen, all the inefficiencies that happens around actual fiat money.
There is Anchor, Earn, and Borrow. In Korean bank, it's like 1%, and in Terra, Anchor protocol, it's like almost 20%. Road value and APR. My assets are really growing up and up tremendously.
There are tons of people in the world that cannot get access to lots of different asset classes. It could be because they don't meet the requisite investor qualifications. It could be that the assets that are being traded are simply not available in the jurisdictions where they happen to live in.
This is Mirror, and you can also buy and sell stocks here. Coinbase here.
Mirror allows people to invest in any asset class in the world in a synthetic way without having to ask for permission from anybody else. Chai's core innovation is that it really makes it easy for people to transact using decentralized money. Across the developed world, the average transaction fee for settlements is around 3% for all payment services. For Chai, we're able to cut that fee down to somewhere between 1.1 to 1.5% by cutting out all the middlemen in the settlement process.
For customers, they can have benefits from Chai, like the cashbacks, like 10% to 20%. For merchants, it's faster.
And Chai is widely integrated with a ton of different merchants in Korea. So you have this really unique type of experience where not only can you earn using DeFi, you can take those DeFi yields and you can spend it on anything that you want in the country. As we start to expand into more markets after Korea, the retail perception of what Terra can do as a competitor to fiat money is going to be astounding.
In addition to Anchor, Mirror, and Chai, Pylon uses a very interesting mechanism to further catalyze our ecosystem.
Pylon is a new protocol on the Terra ecosystem that allows you to access services and art for free. Along with other projects like Anchor, Mirror, it's kind of like an extension of the capabilities of DeFi. It's as simple as you make a key money deposit. That key money deposit accrues yields and provides you with different services for free. And at the end of the day, you're able to withdraw that key money deposit. So what we did was apply this concept to DeFi, to things like subscription services, to rentals in the metaverse, and artist patronage.
The Terra ecosystem really has one main product, the decentralized stablecoin, UST.
There's probably a ton of different things that you can work on in crypto, but I think the most important thing is fulfilling Bitcoin's initial vision of becoming peer-to-peer electronic cash. And it turns out that in order to be peer-to-peer electronic cash, the value of whatever you need to create needs to be pegged to existing units of account that people can enter. So we think that a stablecoin that has stable value against fiat currency is important. But when you have these stablecoins, they need to be decentralized. So if you look at stablecoins like Tether, USDC, they are under the control of whoever is operating them or whatever regulator feels like they have jurisdiction over these issuers. So what that means is that as you're building up a decentralized finance ecosystem on top of these centralized stablecoins, you're going to be held hostage to whoever happens to have control over the underlying centralized money. And that's why I think decentralized stablecoins are the most important innovation in crypto.
Yeah, so it looks like we have 3 to 4 projects over the next few weeks, many more for the...
I think an easy way to estimate the amount of value that is being generated in the network is by looking at all the different use cases that happen to use Terra stablecoins. So in the beginning, I grew very excited in keeping track of new projects as they were launching on top of Terra. But at this point, it's impossible to keep track anymore. Every day, there are new protocols that are launching. The dimensions of what can happen when you unleash the programmability of all these different protocols is going to be mind-blowing.
Last year, because of COVID, my business was really having a hard time. I didn't have my money to give my employees. But after I know Terra, it changed my life. It made me overcome my hard time situation.
This is probably a cliche, but I think we are even earlier than the beginning.
We have hundreds of teams building on Terra at the moment. I think in the near future, we'll have thousands of teams that'll all push UST to become the #1 stablecoin in all of crypto.
So, what things did we learn from their mini documentary about who they are? Well, first of all, we saw some of the key players involved. We saw that it seems like the majority of this was originated from South Korea. It's not to say an opinion or a knock. It's just saying, where something is probably sourced from, kind of the same way of how, certain variants of the COVID, seems that some of the origin points or the first report points came from China, and then other mutations came from the UK and the United States and India, things like that. That's all we're mentioning here. It's also kind of hilarious to see how upbeat all these people are, knowing now that we know, and hindsight is literally 2020, since that was the year 2020, that all of this is going to go up in the smoke and flames as it did this week. Is kind of hilarious to watch. That they're just like, oh, UST is the future, and this is the most important thing, and then it's just like it's responsible for killing everything. So that's what I also want a correction. It wasn't the Alpha protocol, it's the Anchor protocol. We're not going to go too in depth into the Anchor protocol today, because originally today's episode was going to be all about the Anchor protocol, and then we were actually going to code in it. Hey, I doubt. Yep, we're just doing the crypto show today. Oh, I also forgot to mention that I'm not going to be doing. Let me double check. I'm not going to be doing Master of Unlocking, I don't think, tomorrow, just because of reasons. Instead, we're going to be doing a back-to-back one. There's going to be one on the 29th, and then one on June 5th. So, only one Master of Unlocking, just because of Bitcoin Pizza Day is going to get in the way. So there's only one Master of Unlocking this month, but we're going to go straight into... Wow, that was a bad choice of words. Straight into lockpicking stuff next month, because I plan on those 2 episodes to be LGBTQ pride themed. So just putting that out there about my other show. Anyhow, back to this. So yeah, it wasn't the Alpha protocol, it's the Anchor protocol. We are eventually going to do an episode. It might even be the next episode of Crypto Barons, where we're going to look at Anchor Protocol, and we're actually going to try to program in it. That was originally going to be this episode before the whole crypto crash happens. Putting that out there. But essentially, we learned that there are three main technologies that hold this up. Let me go look at my notes here. We have, where is the thing? I can't find it. Thought I had it written down here. I don't have it written down because I'm dumb. But yeah, there's three main properties in order for this whole Terra system, in order to make it both decentralized yet stable, which to me sounds like a Volvo with a gun rack, but whatever. And we're also going to hear the phrase UST, which is a kind of a term of phrase of, USD, and the T stands for Terra. So that gives you the hint there that it's not based directly on an existing fiat currency like almost all stable coins are. Instead, they're using like programming to make sort of a pseudo-stable system with the Anchor protocol and a bunch of other things. And speaking of that, that's what we're going to watch with the second video. And then I'm going to do a short summary. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to go more in depth to how Terra is set up with Luna, and then go right into how the crash happened, and maybe we'll even run some code. So, we keep hearing about Terra and that it's both a stable coin yet it's decentralized. Let's hear from the horse's mouth on how all of this actually works.
How does Terra work? This is 1 Terra US dollar, or UST for short. It's a currency built on Terra's blockchain. The price of 1 UST is determined by how many people want it, and by how much UST is available. Let's imagine the entire Terra economy as a pool. The size of the pool is determined by the total supply of UST. If more people want UST, the tide rises, and if less people want UST, the tide falls. The height of the pool represents the value of each UST. If you can do more with UST, like buy coffee or invest in stocks, more people will want to buy UST, driving up its price. To bring back the water level to $1, we can expand the pool by introducing a new supply of UST. But where does new UST come from? At Terra, we've designed a machine that swaps $1 worth of Luna to 1 UST. Investors who predict UST will be more useful and used in the future can buy and hold Luna. When the value of UST rises above $1, any Luna holder can swap $1 worth of Luna for 1 UST and sell each UST for more than $1, making a profit. The newly introduced UST expands the pool, bringing its price back to the $1 peg. Now Luna is more scarce and therefore more valuable. During times of contraction, any UST holder can profit by swapping UST for Luna, raising the price of 1 UST back to $1 US. As UST becomes more useful in the long run, Luna holders are rewarded for assuming the risk of short-term price volatility. So how exactly does the machine work? When Luna is swapped for UST, a certain percentage is burned, and the rest piles up in a community pool. From the other end, new UST is printed. This process is called seigniorage. As more applications are built using UST, massive demand will cause price to deviate above the $1 peg, meaning we need more UST to expand supply. Meanwhile, Luna becomes more and more valuable, and the community pool accumulates more funds. The funds in the community pool are reinvested to build more apps that use UST, and the virtuous cycle of growth continues. Investors who hold Luna see its value rise during times of expansion, and if they choose to stake, earn transaction fees on UST. Even when demand for UST is low, Terra's algorithm automatically increases fees so that validators are always rewarded with a steady cash flow of UST. With Luna, you can do so much more than earn passive income. Luna holders can participate in Terra's governance process, proposing or voting for changes in transaction fees, seigniorage allocation, tax rate, and many more. Luna not only collateralizes UST, but also many more world currencies like Korean won and the IMF SDR on the Terra blockchain. Much like the Moon, which stabilizes the Earth's rotation, Luna and its stakers are essential to Terra's stability. Join us on our mission to create a truly open and transparent monetary platform that no one controls, setting money free for billions worldwide.
So, that was a lot of information to absorb. I think you're already going to see the problems with this, which is why, hilariously, early back in March, there were some conspiracy theories of the idea that Terra was some sort of a scam. Now, that is honestly debatable, and considering their reaction to everything, I don't think it was a scam. But you can already kind of see some faults in here. And even though we're gonna, after the break, go into more coding stuff, I will replay that video if people forget, because I need people to remember how this works. So what Anchor and the rest of the algorithmic stuff do with the UST is that there are two types of coins essentially. There is a UST coin and there's Luna. And basically the way that they stabilize without actually backing a official fiat is that when one currency starts dipping down, the other one increases up and vice versa. And by burning the coins back and forth between the two, minting new ones and getting rid of old ones, that's how it's supposed to stabilize, as they described it with the moon stabilizing the earth and vice versa, keeping it in orbit. Which is hilarious because this is also the year where Roland Emmerich came out with a film where the moon falls in on us because now the moon is haunted and it's our enemy. And that's basically what happened to Terra and the cryptocurrency world, because we're going to use all that stuff and show how one simple thing ruined not only the entire Terra ecosystem, ruined Luna as a cryptocurrency, but is currently ruining the entire cryptocurrency market, including Bitcoin as we speak. We are going to get into all of that and programming and more, but first I need to rehydrate, I need to check some things. So we're going to listen to some cool music for about 3 to 5 minutes on a little break, and then we're going to finish the rest of the episode. So stay tuned, everybody. I'll be right back. And we are now back. Oh, let me turn desktop audio off. Why is this playing? Hang on. Sorry about that. We just watched that video. Why the hell is it playing? Welcome back to Crypto Barons. We're now getting back into looking at Terra Luna and figuring out its role in the crypto crash and why the crypto crash happened in the first place. But in order to get that, we need a better understanding of what Lua is. Sorry, of Terra. So, as we just watched, Terra is a whole algorithmic blockchain platform that basically tries to stabilize its own currency and thus making it a stable coin by instead of being backed by an actual fiat currency or physical tangible object, it creates a pseudo system using two coins, a USDT, saying for United States Terra, and Luna, in order to stabilize both coins. Again, as I said, of how the moon and the Earth's rotation keeps our two astrological bodies in orbit. Trying to figure out where I'm getting this. So as we're going to look at the Terra docs here, you can see that the protocol consists of two main tokens, Terra and Luna. Terra is stablecoins that track the price of fiat currencies. Users mint new Terra by burning Luna. Stablecoins are named for their fiat counterparts. For example, the base Terra stablecoin tracks the price of SDR called Terra SDR SDT. Their stablecoins is including Terra USD or UST or KT Terra KRW or KRT. If you see the T at the end instead of the appropriate letter for that fiat currency, it means Terra. All Terra denominations exist on the same pool, and Luna is Terra Protocol's native staking coin. Absorbs the price volatility of Terra. Luna is used for governance, and in mining, Luna users stake Luna. Two validators record and verify transactions on the blockchain exchange for rewards from transaction fees. The more Terra is used, the more Luna is worth, and vice versa. And that's how they basically do their whole stabilization system. Put a pin in that because we're going to come back around to that to explain how Terra Luna fell completely flat on its face and how that affected the entire market. There's also an entire official white paper about this, in which I will also put that link directly into the chat. But again, since we're more about the technology on this show, before we get into the crash, I'd like to actually kind of look at more in depth than a lot of other places of what Terra was, I guess, and what Luna was, because there's even news that literally just came out as we were broadcasting of like how crazy this all is. So with Luna and UST, you can do all the usual stuff such as staking and mining. If I remember correctly, they use proof of stake as their staking system. You stake your Luna validator here, and then you can swap and exchange coins, withdraw staking rewards. You can re-regulate or undelegate stuff, and again, it's also used for like the major governance of the whole system here. All sorts of things in the documentation here. Let's see, download station. This I haven't clicked on yet. This is the part where I get to learn stuff. So yeah, there's many different ways to install the wallet that connects to its mainnet. You have applications for Windows, Mac, and Linux, which we're not going to currently install at this time. I'm also going to assume you can build this from scratch. We're going to look at source code in a bit. If you are on, I will put the GitHub, our GitHub, and the GitHub for Terra when we get there. But if you are on Twitch, we have a little widget in the right-hand corner, I believe, of the screen that has the relevant repository links. So if you want to follow along or do your own research, when you click on one of those, it will open a new tab so you can continue watching and listening to the stream while looking at the code separately. So just pointing that out there. If you want to see a lot of the same stuff that we're looking at when we get to the GitHub page, if you're on Twitch, you can use that widget. If not, I'll put the link into our chat system here. So yeah, honestly, the wallet doesn't really look too different. It has an NFT section, which is interesting. So I guess it does a direct marketplace, but doesn't really look too different for most wallets, although I will say it looks very like smooth, UXI, confidently designed. I guess that's like the South Korean approach there, because I always notice that with South Korean video games and software and stuff that seems to be able to do stuff now. Let's click around here. Look at mint, burn, or swap. Oh, want to go back. So again, in addition to being able to download an application on your desktop, there are also extensions for the two main browsers. So there is both a Chrome extension for your wallet, a Firefox extension, and then there's also applications for iOS and Android for all of this. So now let's go to mint, burn, and swap. So again, you can swap between the two coins, the UST and the Luna, directly through the wallet using the market swap. There's also, which we'll look at in a second, various online portals that they've made for this. There's also a bridge system. You can also have multi-sig on your wallet. There is also a testnet, which we might connect to later. And you can also connect your station wallet, your Terra Station wallet to a Kepler wallet using Google. So you use the extensions order for if you have all of your stuff on Kepler and you want to go back and forth between two wallets, you can use that. I'm going to leave everything on the testnet page, and I'm going to check this because I just want to make sure this is stable over here. Okay. Hopefully now that won't ever fall over in the future. There's a lot of just also documentation about building stuff. So let's see, buildings, get started with the wallet and staking, Terra, hackathon research, a helpful list for hackers. We're hackers, we could look into that. Ecosystem, the core modules, running nodes, Terra.js and TerraPy. So that's something we're going to look into a bit, where it's both built in JavaScript, Python. I just want to see what the hackathon resources are because I'm really curious. So we have Tehran in the depth, in the testnet, making dApps, making faucets, RPC airport endpoints. Interesting. I want to see the dApp guide for a moment, or decentralized apps. The smart contract is a computer. So to make dApps, let's see, your front end is the Terra SDK. You can see, so what they're trying to say is that, like, hey, if you're used to like all these Ethereum tools, we have similar tools for ours with like browser extensions and testnet and languages. Rust. Talking about their systems here. Let's see what else we have for resources. Let's see, faucet. Cool. So now you put your testnet address and have a faucet. One of the future episodes I want to do is I want to actually make a faucet for a cryptocurrency. Faucets are basically a place where it's basically a wallet for a giant mine. So if you have a mine big enough, you can actually make its own crypto wallet, and then that wallet is publicized. So what it does is the web interface, you put like your receive address for whatever cryptocurrency. In this case, it's for Terra, and or in this case the testnet address, and basically it sends a bit of its entire mint pool to you, and that's why it's called faucet, because it basically drips a little bit of tiny bit of a cryptocurrency each time. And that way, it's a way basically for people that instead of having to use fiat or other existing cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin to buy their way in, which would be an actual like hurdle if you want mass adoption, you can just earn a little bit of it for free every day, so at least you can get enough to start doing what you need to do. Look at the Terran quick start here, because I'm curious. Terran is a Terra developed environment, creates a better smart contract development experience. I walk you through setup. I'm just curious about this. Ooh, more than 8 gigabytes of RAM required. I don't even know if this computer can do that. And I think even if it did, it'd take like half the memory. Jesus fucking Christ. So you can do dApps with Terrain, develop and deploy smart contracts, create custom task lists for, I hope everyone can read this properly because it looks fine on the screen I'm at. Let me just double check. Yeah, it looks fine. If you need me to zoom in a little bit more, let me know in chat. And again, I love interactive chat. So far, the chat I think is more interested in watching me learn this shit. So as I always say, keep lurking, keep learning. But if you want to ask me questions about what we're doing or my crazy hair or the fact that I kind of realized that last night was a good night. I kind of partied a little bit too hard last night because boy, have I been cooped up here for over a week with crazy stuff. You know, that's kind of the thing. That's why this is going to be a very chill episode. Create custom tabs for blockchain and contract information. So that's neat. You can access consoles for interacting with the blockchain itself and create predefined functions used on the console. So in order to set all this up, you need Docker, Docker Compose, npm, my favorite, and Node.js version 16. And you also need to set up Rust. I've already done most of this already. We might connect to the testnet later, but so to testnet you need over 8 gigabytes of RAM. For the actual local net, you need over 16. Dear Lord, you like literally need a high-end gaming PC in order to run this shit. Dear fucking God. So we might try to do the test net. Maybe what we'll do is right at the end of the stream, we'll do the test net that way. Because nothing's worse than me doing some coding in the middle of the episode and then the episode dies because our streaming dies thanks to all the bullshit going on. See, you do need to install the browser extension and create a Bombay wallet. So we might not be able to do that. Well, this is more for stuff with DApp. I want to see if in general we can connect to the test net or the main net, which we'll look at. Oh, cool! And there's the demo, which we'll look at when we get to GitHub. Because again, we're not going to do as far as I know, we're not going to do any like coding today. We're just going to do simple like network tests and stuff like that. I will say, provided that Terra is still around, in a future episode we might revisit this and build some of the tutorial stuff on here. So that's you can also mint NFTs using the same system, although you need a lot more stuff. You need Google. You have to have Google Chrome, so you can't use any other browser besides that. I guess a Chrome equivalent, but they really say Google Chrome. The TrainStation extension, the wallet, npm, Git, which I haven't even installed Git unless you're using a really outdated operating system or something that was improved by Free Software Foundation. Terrain and local Terra and more than 16 gigs of RAM, so we're definitely not being able to run this today. Eventually, I'm going to get an even better supercomputer that then I'm going to link to the streaming computer, and that should solve like a lot of our things here. But yeah, this is actually pretty neat, and again, this is very easy to follow. So you know, kudos for them to making this like all kind of easy to like follow and do. Let's see. You can also do all the smart contracting, call them migrate. That's fascinating. Cause I just loaded up a bunch of pages. Like I'm like discovering all of this with you guys and gals, all of you blocks out there. I'm, you know, discovering this myself. So that was like the, let's see, this is still part of the hacker resources. That's neat. Little stuff for hackathons. I tried loading the hackathon page, but nothing loaded. I wouldn't be surprised if they're like paring back now because of all of the controversy it has with the crypto cash. So download station, create a wallet, swap coins, stake Luna, station web app, governance, contracts, all of that. I want to see what the web app looks like, if we can even load it. Alright, so this is the current Terra station here. Lots of... Oh, look at the plummet of transaction volumes. Yeah, because just all this controversy going on. We're going to get used to the charts being weird like that, because it's just going to be crazy. That's neat, and you could like connect through here if we had the actual extension and shit like that. That's kind of a neat like visual interface right there. Curious about staking Luna. Let's look at how that works. And we're going to look at Luna more in a second. Yep, this is a proof of stake system. So it's not proof of work like the older coins are. Let's look at the government system real quick. Yeah, it seems like you can vote through everything through the wallet itself, so that's pretty cool. I'm sorry if this is not riveting stuff again. I'm super tired from last night. I actually even debated doing this episode tomorrow, but I figured I'd get out of the way today. We'll see if that was a good choice or not. Now I'm curious about running a full node, and then we'll look at some of the other features here. Turn full node is a resource-intensive process. No shit, if you're using 16 gigs just for the core net. Requires a persistent server. If you want to use Terra without downloading entire blockchain, use Terra Station. Let's see. I just want to see how this looks. So we have, let's see. So you have to configure your system. So this is like we would get like a souped up Raspberry Pi in order to run this, or like basically an old gaming PC. It sounds like, because right here it says 4 or more CPU cores, at least 32 gigs of memory, at least 300 MPBS of network bandwidth, and at least 2 terabyte SSD. So basically get a mid-range, like used gaming PC in order to actually run a full node on this thing. Holy shit. You have to install Go. You can do that with Linux. They show how to do it if you're a Mac and stuff. I already have Go installed, even though we're not going to run this. I have Go and Rust because of all the crypto stuff we're going to encounter. I know I'd be running into those two the most often, that and Python. Use port configurations, and then it seems like from the list you have to build the core. So that's interesting. Yep, you get clone it, you're going to make install. Very straightforward. Again, it's just more of the resources that will kill you. We'd be sitting here for like hours if we tried to build it. And then you set up the production environment. Yep, you create the different users, the maximum amount of files, and you run the server as a daemon, or you can also use it as a thread. You can access all the log systems. And the last one that we'll look at of all of this is joining a network. I highly recommend a local private network before joining a public network. So it shows how you can create a local network here, and then for a public network, they currently have 2. You have the mainnet and the testnet. Columbus and Bombay. That's kind of iffy naming. Download the Genesis file. So that way it's connected to the chain, as we've covered in our first episode about how blockchains are working coded and the address books for them. And then you run that. Again, I do appreciate that the documentation is really easy to follow. So that's kind of neat right there. Again, we also have the usual documentation page here, which gives us more stuff about like the sync guides and the Anchor protocol, smart contracts using custom keys, different string types, clients, core modules, uses Mint, Oracle. Oracle. What else? What else can we find? Oh, so the 2 genders, right? So there is it seems like it's built with 2 different types of programming language. You have Terra.js here, which works with JavaScript runtimes here. And then they have another one that's in Python, which I thought I loaded, but I guess I didn't here. Let's see. Set up a project. Right, so you make a new directive, new project. And the light client daemon, which connects to the blockchain stuff. Yeah, I think if Terra's still here, we're gonna do a future episode where we'll do something like developing with Terra, and we'll try to like run all the least intensive stuff like this as we can. Again, like normally we would do more coding stuff. We might connect to the testnet if we're able to, but I just really just wanted to go over this. So this is kind of more of a covering talking thing, even though we are going to be looking at code too. And again, it's also, they have a version of it that is built in Python, so you have a more modern system there to work with. And of course, there's many different aspects here to Terra. I can find them. You have the Terra Bridge, which, by the way, this is one of the things that happened in real time. It was originally delisted, because we're going to get into that, of how like Terra was basically delisted and turned, the blockchain stuff was turned off for a while. And then I literally reloaded the page for this episode, And now the whole bridge system completely works now, and you can wormhole, so you can move Terra to Ethereum, and other different types here. Secret, which is something we're going to cover in the future. Same thing as Avalanche, Polygon, Moonbeam. These are stuff that we've already covered. Binance. So this is the wormhole bridge, so that you can exchange different coins once you connect your wallet. This was down for a while, and we'll explain how and why it was down in a bit. You could also look different blocks and addresses with the Finder system they built. They also built a token bridge for tokens and NFTs as its own separate system. So that's kind of a unique thing. And which I think is absolutely hilarious is that there is an expo just for Terra decentralized apps. That's called the Terra DApp Expo. That's gonna take place in Austin, Texas next month. One, let's see if the confidence in Terra still exists that they don't cancel this simply because of the lack of attendance and bad press. But two, Austin's one of the more like liberal cities, or like more of like a normal human civilization in all of Texas, but still in Texas, so would not be surprised if everything goes crazy. Yeah, it seems like the last major update they had was in March, because after March all this stuff started to go down. Expensive ass tickets. The general tickets like nearly is $350, and then VIP is like 100 or two away from from like fucking 1K. Jesus Christ, at the AT&T and hotel. So we're combining Terra, which caused the market crash, aka crypto bro shit, with Texas and AT&T. This is like the three Cerberus heads match made in fucking hell. Um, I'll put it this way: if there's a huge demand, since I have relatives out in Texas, I could look into. Okay, my mic is working. I can look into actually attending that convention, despite of how stupid expensive it is. But again, I want to also see if this expo will actually even happen at this point because of how bad everything has become. So let's look at some. Oh, there's also this, which I think is kind of interesting here. Let's look at some more code stuff, then we'll get into Luna token, and then we'll talk more about the crash. So another part of their like, and again, this is all pretty creative and stuff, is that they made what's called the Terra Academy, and these are basically tutorial courses. They're completely free, in order to help you kind of learn the stuff that Terra is built on. So you have a Rust Basics course, which I might use to get a refresher when we're not streaming. How the NFT systems work and how the smart contracting system works. So what you do is you enroll in here. There's like different videos and like lab workshops and stuff like that on here. So that's pretty cool that like, again, I'm gonna go through the Rust thing, and if that's decent, now when people ask me, hey, I want to learn like the Rust programming language, I might send them over that. It's free. It's multiple comprehensive lessons. Let's take a look at the code here. So again, I'm going to share this GitHub to the chat right now. However, if you are on our Twitch, we do have a widget for GitHub where we mirrored some of these on our own GitHub, and our GitHub is at defcon201 on GitHub for you to follow along. And what we shared was the Go implementation, JavaScript and Go implementation of the core of Terra. We also forked the mainnet and also just a bunch of clicky-click resource links. Let's look at the core here. See what it's made up of. Go to the core. We're hardcore. So it's very much, it's more JavaScript than Go, but it's neatly divided. There's a make file in there, obviously, some HTML, some shell to patch together, and a little bit of Python. Terra Core has its little logo here. So you have to install the binaries, download pre-built binaries, unless you want to go to the source, so that you would have to do Golang, which I don't know if I've updated, CD core and git checkout main. And then you have to build that core from scratch, and you verify your core information here. And then you use Terrad to actually run this thing as a daemon. So that's how you use that. Again, it uses 4 or more CPU cores, 2 terabytes of disk space storage, which we definitely don't have currently. 100 megabytes of Mbps of network bandwidth, which is guaranteed to kill the stream if we try to run it, and a Linux distribution, because of course you do that. I actually have Ubuntu running in the background just in case we want to, do anything, which I don't think we are going to do, but, it's nice to just have that loaded in the background there. I already updated it and everything. That's kind of neat. Let's look at the main net. See how the main net's going on with this. This is called, so the main net's, again, is called Columbus. It's first decentralized network of nodes using over TerraCore. Genesis, and here's all the seeds for the different nodes. That's neat. And let's look a bit at the Terra.js that we were looking at earlier. JavaScript application, Terra.js, and the interfaces with all the web stuff there and the different validators. Really, really cool. I think it's also hilarious that they advertise that this is JavaScript, but it's actually written in TypeScript. And I know that to some people that seems like it's splitting hairs, but like there are actual differences between the two language sets. So I just find that also just really funny. Take a closer look at the Python one. Written in Python with extensive support libraries, versatile, the LCD client here. Let's see, walk through Python 7. Can be installed with pip as a virtual environment. And the dependencies it needs is poetry. I think it's hilarious. Let's actually take a look at poetry because I was going to try to describe what it was and then my brain blanked out. Yeah, it's a packaging and the dependence management system. See, I already botched trying to say that. That's why I clicked on it so I could read it. Because I'm definitely I'm going to take probably a nap after this, and then I'm going to cook, like, dinner, breakfast. Let's see. SDK displays 10. So we might run this later. So at the end, I might go back to this, and then we might run everything here. We'll find out. Hopefully that won't kill the computer. All right. So let's take a look at that Luna, one of the 2 coins. It's also the other website is terrablockchain.org. And you can see here of how it's built. We have Anchor Protocol, Mirror Protocol, and Pylon Protocol. These are the multiple things. And the new one they've added is Star Terra. Just click the one we're loading in, and hopefully the stream is not going whack from clicking on it. This is Anchor Protocol. We're going to look at this on a future episode. It's a savings protocol. It does low yields. This is basically the main algorithm for proof of stake that stabilizes the entire coin system. Again, we're going to make our own dedicated episode of that. We're actually going to program something in Anchor Protocol. I say next episode, depending on what goes on, I might preempt it for something else. Kind of the same way I did for here, because today's episode was supposed to be about Anchor Protocol, but if everything goes, if I don't have anything else to replace it with, the next episode, which we do second to and fourth Saturday of every month, so that would be on the 28th. That's looking like to be the Anchor Protocol programming episode. If not, we'll do something else. As we saw in the video, Mirror Protocol is a DeFi protocol coded in COSWAM, which is one of the 2 main smart contracting language, in addition to Solidity, which we've programmed in before. And it creates mirrored assets that they call M assets, or I like to call them MAS. And they mimic price behaviors of traditional financial assets with no intermediaries. So one, cuts out all the middlemen of doing all the transaction stuff, so it remains the lowest price as possible. So it tries to eliminate all those like gas fees and fiat fees. But 2 is if Anchor's the algorithms that stabilize it, Mirror's the one that basically makes it mimic like an actual fiat currency in order for it to be based off of, order for the chain and its coin to be based after something to stabilize. And you have the Pylon protocol, also known as Mine. If you're a Finding Nemo fan, or you lived in Massachusetts where you lived with those fucking rats with wings that we call seagulls. And this is a whole like payment saving system. Now, Star Terra is the one that I haven't heard of. I just clicked on it. That's the one I didn't know before the stream here. I will note that after we look at these, after we look at Luna, I'm going to take one last short break, and then we're going to get into the actual crash itself, and then we might try to do the test net under under TerraPi, and then end the stream. So just like, and also when we end the stream, if you're on Twitch, we're gonna go raid someone else's stream. So stick around because that's always a cool way to discover more cool hackers and weird streamers out there. So yeah, let's see what this is. Star Terra Launchpad. Oh, this is like to start up like games and other like decentralized app platforms. That's what Star Terra is. That makes sense because it's like starring it and stuff like that. So let's look at Luna itself. If you've noticed, it's actually now getting healthier. This used to be all giant red, just it's like our cover icon for the episode, just arrows just going straight down. As one video pointed out, covering this die follow, if most coins are trying to shoot for the moon, Terra for the past week has been trying to shoot for the core of the Earth, or essentially shoot itself in the foot. So Luna seems like decently stable, and Luna is controlled by the Luna Foundation Guard, which is going to be very important to the thing that we'll discuss next after a short break, which is the actual how the actual crash happened. I just want to see about the mission and ecosystem here, because that might give us a little bit of insight into how this is set up. So the Luna Foundation, or LFG, let me zoom in a bit more because I'm pretty sure no one can actually read this. Nonprofit organization established in Singapore, so it actually has a physical location, unlike a lot of governance systems for cryptocurrencies, dedicated to creating and providing greater economic sovereignty, security, and stability. It's usually they rate sovereignty, but you're also in like an actual country. I don't know. I mean, technically, wherever you live, that's the sovereignty you have to respect. So, like, if you're like creating a cryptocurrency here in America, you'd be under American jurisdiction laws. But I'm just saying that's just funny to write in. So yeah, these are the people that not only balance out UST, aka Terra USD, and Luna, but they also are the ones that like give grants and everything to different open source projects and other initiatives within the whole Terra Luna infrastructure. So that's sort of what everything's programmed made out of. Again, we might try to run something at the end of the episode, and a little bit about the Luna coin itself and how like the two play off each other and everything. I'm gonna go on one last short break, just again because I had such a rough night last night. It was a really fun night, but oof boy, partied a bit too hard, everybody. But what we're gonna be getting into after our short like 3 to 5 minute break again is the actual crash, and we're gonna go into how all the stuff we learned contributed to Terra Luna just falling off the face of the earth, and how it impacted the other markets, and an important lesson for everyone involved in cryptocurrency to wake the fuck up and look at what reality is and what you're actually trying to do in cryptocurrency and blockchain spaces. Okay? See you in about 3 to 5 minutes. Sorry for the break, but you know, nature calls. So I'm gonna pee, rehydrate, do a bunch of other things, and I'll be back in again 3 to 5 minutes. So enjoy the lo-fi music and stay tuned for a bit. Well, welcome back, everybody. I'm back. I have some more water. I'm actually glad I took that break when I did, because I guess me talking about everything, I did not realize that there were 2 flies. So I killed another fly on break. I have no idea where these flies are coming from, but it kind of reminds me of why I'm in the process of moving in the first place. So let's hope that that is the last bug I actually get to rectify during this night. I hope that when we do the test net, if we do the test net, that whatever bug that was, that it's the only bug there and not the ones buzzing around that I keep killing here. I literally have not seen a fly in here for 2 years. So the fact that there were 2 of them that showed up has me worried and confused. But anyhow, so what we've been going over, besides our interlude about how cryptocurrency impacted Roe v. Wade, is that, you know, we were looking at, because all sources point to it, Terra and its cryptocurrency Luna, and we learned a lot more about it, both in how it does things financially, the algorithms that it uses, and how it's programmed, and how it's built and made up. So now let's get to the really fun part and look into why everything went tits up. So as a quick refresher, I have one video that I'm going to fast forward through, just as a reminder of how Terra works, how it's set up. We're just going to look over it because it's normally a really long video, but I've condensed it down. We're just going to watch a portion of it, because then I'm going to detail where Terra went wrong and how it impacted the rest of the market. So let's watch this.
What do you think of when you hear the word ecosystem? Most people think examples of candy, a car payment, blockchain, right? And Bitcoin uses a blockchain too. Well, what's the difference? Why would a merchant want to use Terra when they could use Bitcoin? Well, here's the thing. Bitcoin is volatile. The value of Bitcoin measured in dollars changes constantly, I mean all day long. This is important because we usually measure things in dollars. Whether that's a bag of candy, a car payment, your rent, everyone thinks in dollar bills. The volatility problem inspired something called stablecoins. Now, we actually have an entire video on stablecoins and how they work if you're interested in learning more. But the idea here is pretty simple. Stablecoins are simply cryptocurrencies that are pegged to fiat currencies. So if people have measured their wealth in these fiat currencies and they use this fiat currency most consistently, they don't want to use something like Bitcoin, which could change value, because nobody wants to be that guy who spent 10,000 Bitcoins on some pizza. At the time, it may have been only $20 worth, but if they spend it, people fear that there may be a chance it could go up, and if they accept it as a purchase, they also have a fear that maybe the price could go down. Now, the core idea here is that we want to create a separate channel for one to make payments and another to invest in. We don't want them to be the same thing. We want our money to have a stable value so that we can expect that it will be worth the same thing tomorrow and the next day and hopefully the next year. Terra solves this by using a stablecoin algorithm that allows certain tokens on the network to stay at a single price. So Terra actually has a stablecoin for several different currencies, like the US dollar, which is represented UST, the Korean won, represented as KRT, and the euro, represented as EUT. Now these are simple ways of using cryptocurrency to transact in a simpler, faster, and cheaper way than before. So simply put, Terra is attempting to bring the advantages of crypto, DeFi, and all of those decentralized applications, but without the volatility and unpredictability of the prices. Now, I know exactly what you're thinking, at least if you've watched our other videos. Algorithmic stablecoins never worked. Well, so far, Terra has worked. I'm going to bring up the recent Titan and Iron Finance algorithmic stablecoin crash because it seems similar. Well, when we did
And again, this is ironic knowing what we know now about Terra and Luna, but we're again watching this just as a quick refresher. So when I explain how Terra shit the bed, you get it.
Dig into why they crashed, it was mostly because there was no reason to hold Titan or Iron, other than to use them to make more money. And this was essentially a Ponzi scheme in the crypto world. Now, I venture to say that Terra is different because they created a stablecoin with a purpose. In fact, Terra is built around an entire blockchain ecosystem for all the dApps and platforms to use, while Titan was simply a get-rich-quick yield farming opportunity that was pumped and dumped on. And even more so, it was on someone else's blockchain. Think about this, even Ethereum itself, where does it get its value from? It gets its value from the ecosystem surrounding Ethereum, all the dApps and the smart contracts and protocols. This is exactly what also Terra stablecoins are banking on as well. Now, we may be wrong, and Terra may crash in the future, but as far as the research that we have performed, this process has worked pretty far, and it does appear quite different from the Titan and Iron Finance death spiral. Moving on, let's talk about how they're similar. The Terra ecosystem holds two assets at its heart: the native network coin, which is called Luna, and the stablecoin, which is called UST. Now, the power of Luna is a bit different than in other projects because it is actually used to maintain the stable value of Terra, but the idea is the same. Luna is a token that is used to keep the price of Terra at exactly $1. It is also used for network fees. Let me explain how this works. When the value of UST is mismatched to the value of a real US dollar, basically they use Luna to incentivize people to do certain things to stabilize the price. They do this either by burning their UST or creating more of it to manipulate the value. And the people that proactively help the network stay stable are incentivized with profits. Alright, here we go. If Terra is over $1, the answer is simple. You can always reduce the price of something by making more of it. And that's exactly what they do. Now, you might be wondering, who do they give all these extra Terra tokens to? Well, they give them to the people that trade in their Luna tokens, but they do it for a very small, but also important profit. Next up, what happens if Luna goes under $1? How do they bring it back up? Well, if it goes under $1, you can actually trade your Terra coins in for a dollar value of Luna, again, making a very small but meaningful profit. This means we can basically shrink the circulating supply of Terra, causing the price to go up. Now, you might be wondering the same question that I was wondering. Where does all of this everlasting profit come from? That is a great question, and here's what I found out. The profit seems to come from money flowing into the ecosystem. As more and more people buy UST, Luna will grow in price. Although it does seem to happen that a small portion of this profit goes to those who help keep UST stable. However, when people start taking their money out of the ecosystem, Luna will fall in price. So the value is taken from people who hold the Luna token. Now this brings us to another question. Why on earth would you hold Luna? Well, you can hold Luna for two reasons. One, if you're bullish on the Terra ecosystem and you think that more people will come into it. And two, if you actually want to do anything on the Terra network, you have to hold Luna, as Luna is the native coin that allows you to do things. So this immediately makes it very different from the death spiral that Titan and Iron Finance experienced. Nobody had any reason to buy Titan and Iron other than to participate in the Ponzi scheme. Terra gets its value because people can use this stablecoin for stuff all the way across the ecosystem. Speaking of that, what can you do with Terra? Now, as we mentioned in the beginning, Terra is more of an...
So that's just a quick refresher on what Terra is and sort of how it does, instead of directly basing off of a USD, how it uses the two different coins and its anchor protocol and algorithms in order to stabilize itself. Now, let me explain to everybody the simple thing of what happened. So, Tether, so for example, Tether and USDC, the traditional ones, are backed by the actual US dollar. UST, once again, as they said, is what's known as an algorithmic or decentralized stablecoin. The idea is that those mechanisms, plus about $1 billion of Bitcoin reserves, the UTS is pegging for the dollar. Just pay attention. All else fails, just remember, everyone in crypto got pegged. That's all you really need to know, because I'm going to be saying the word peg a lot. It means the actual value of the asset that you have. But the dollar peg can be maintained without having to be backed by an actual US dollar. So it's like a pseudo US dollar, right? So to create UST, you need to burn the Luna token. So for instance, last week you could trade, let's say, a Luna token for something like 80 or 85 UST. So let's say Luna was, worth 85. You traded for 85 of that for UST. But when you do that, the Luna would also be destroyed, aka burned, as we've covered in previous episodes about burning coins in the process. This is a deflationary protocol, and it's meant to ensure Luna's long-term growth. As more people buy into UST, the more Luna would be burned, meaning the remaining Luna supply more valuable. And then to entice traders to burn Luna to create USTs, I'm reading my notes here, they're offered somewhere between a 15 to 19% yield on staking, which essentially is, think of it like interest for a loan, right? This is where I'm like, again, not a financial advisor. I'm just trying to explain this to the best of my ability. And this is what basically Anchor Protocol is, which we'll get to a future episode on the coding of it. So this is how you understand it. What it is, it's basically Anchor Protocol manages like interests and middleman, so that basically they're all taken care of and you can just focus on the actual finance part. So instead of like putting your savings in a bank at like 0.06% interest or whatever, the idea with UST is that you put your money into UST where it can then earn like 20% in basically interest, and then that builds up over time. So that's the way it evaluates. So you burn Luna to up value. So you burn it to increase the value of Luna, and then to increase the value of UST, you hold the interest rate over. That's kind of how that works. And here's the key to how it pegs that or tries to peg that consistent price, which is that one UST can always be exchanged for $1 worth of Luna. So if the UST, like let's say, drops from $1 to like 99 cents or 80 cents, traders can profit. And they profit they buy a huge amount of UST and exchange that for Luna, profiting 1 cent per token. And that does two things. If people buy UST, it drives the price up, and UST is being burned in exchange. So by trading and burning between the two crypto tokens and then the Anchor protocol managing the loan interest rate, that's how it's supposed to balance each other. And then the ultimate backup plan is the reserves. So Do Kwon, the South Korean guy, which you're going to see in a video in a moment, created the Luna Foundation Guard. And they're a consortium who, as their slogan puts it, protects the peg, because they really love pegging, and they loved it so much that now everyone's getting pegged. They have, as I've mentioned, $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin reserves. So if the UST drops below $1, because remember this, because we're going to look at their plan of how they're going to attempt to save this, the Bitcoin reserves would be sold and the UST would be bought with the proceeds. If UST goes above $1, they would just sell the UST until it goes back to $1, which then the Luna gets burned. I'm sorry, the UST gets burned for Luna, all of that sort of stuff. Here's where you could already kind of see flaws in this, that everything is like inside. They're using another cryptocurrency as a failsafe, which is how this is going to get affected. And the idea that, once again, they made a system where they thought no one's going to be an asshole. Here's what ended up happening, okay? A couple of days ago, apparently last weekend, over $2 billion worth of UST was unstaked. That's what killed it. Somehow, and it was probably due to multiple accounts, so many people took stuff out of Anchor Protocol that it's the amount that they built up was worth $2 billion, and that's all gone. They it just disparate. They pulled all of that out. It's like when you pull the money out of, if everyone just pulled all their money out of the bank would go under. That's what happened. And remember, they only have $1.5 billion in Bitcoin reserves. So even if they use those, they can't build it back up because they're still $0.5 billion short. Nobody knows if this is either, and we'll get into that in a moment, a reaction to something that happened in the market, someone doing a giant scam, or directly attacking the network. But that's basically what happened. and because of the huge sell push, it dropped Terra, aka Luna, to 91 cents. And then the people trading tried to take advantage of that discrepancy, exchanging 90 cents worth of UST to $1 worth of Luna. But the problem is that, you remember how we talked about the burning? You can only burn $100 million worth of UST for Luna per day. So, to recap, basically, a bunch of people panicked in the market and they took so much out of UST that was worth 2 billion, which means that the reserve for the 1.5 billion Bitcoin in order to balance things is mostly worthless because they can't make it back because there's still 1.5 billion. Now, normally this is where the burning process would hit, where basically Luna would be burned in order to create more UST. That UST would be burned to create more Luna to balance it, but they never thought that it would be over $100 million. So it's actually capped because remember, it's supposed to be stable at $100 million per day, meaning the amount being taken out could never match the amount being burned, and so the whole system broke down. It broke down so bad that as let me go to the article here. It broke down so bad that where's the article? It lost its peg completely. It nearly collapsed to zero over the weekend. Remember, it's supposed to be, in order to be stable, it needs to be at the $1 mark, and it was like way below that. Luna itself plunged $85 a week to be traded at 4 cents. Again, it's supposed to be $1. Dropped down to 4 cents on Luna alone. The UST basically evaporated. It was so bad that multiple exchanges had to delist UST and Luna from their own staking. And trying to find the right article here. Apparently, it's not here. But they was delisted, and at some point, which you would have seen if I didn't reload the bridge, they actually had to take the entire chain offline. This is a problem because a lot of people were backing Terra Luna. So one, imagine if in today's economy, I'm going to think of the equivalent for ours. Let's say that $1 trillion just disappears out of the U.S. economy. It'd be like Russia with the current ruble. We would instantly collapse. We would have the new Great Dust Bowl and everything all over again, just like we've had many ones in the past. Again, this is one of those things which is a hard lesson that I'll reiterate, that because cryptocurrency is ultimately a currency, it's going to have by default the same exact problems that fiat currency has in the market. Market crashes and scams and Ponzi and pyramid schemes, things like that. People foolishly thought, because of Elon Musk's big brain, that because this is a new fancy digital thing, that it would be immune to stuff that is fundamentally and intrinsic to the type of platform that it is, and it's not. If you're dealing with cryptocurrency, you might as well deal with fiat and the stock market, because you're essentially dealing with a digital, sometimes decentralized, sometimes private version of it, but it has all the same issues because at the end of the day, finance is finance. Coinbase and Binance and all of these holders, that was a huge part of their market. And if a big major coin just like tanks and disappears like that, that's going to affect all the other markets around it. So as listed here, because of that, Bitcoin slides below 30,000. Ethereum nearly crashed. It was nuts. Last Tuesday, Bitcoin was down more than 50% from its highest value. Which might be a good thing, because that means a Satoshi might actually, you might be able to actually use an entire Satoshi for once. Bitcoin and Ether, the two largest cryptocurrencies market cap, shed approximately 20% of their respective values. Further complicating the situation is the unveiling of one or more, stable coins. Because the other problem is with this also failing, Now nobody, well, first of all, they had to admit in their recovery plan, which we're going to look at in a moment, that the entire concept of UST has completely failed. And now, for the longest time, people were like, stable coins is going to be our future. Like governments has also looked into, like, the United States government, when they eventually make their own cryptocurrency to match directly the UST, that's official. They were going to use a stable coin. And now people are running away from stable coins because this is like, we now got to see it. Stable coin, the whole point of the stable coin is that it's stable, it shouldn't go tits up. But due to the power of, you were thinking so much that if you could, you didn't think of how much that if you should, they somehow managed to fuck up the thing that was supposed to be unfuckable. So bravo to you, Tether, for doing that. Yeah, they were halting to prevent hacks among the crash. It's now back up in production again. And then they had to post the rescue plan. And just as a reminder of Do Kwon, by the way, of this, if you want to laugh at something, uh, literally 2 days before the crash happened, where 2 billion got pulled out, and then there was no way they could burn them out, and they crashed, and now him and everyone else on that foundation is being blamed all across the entire cryptocurrency community for all of crypto, Doge, Monero, and everything failing. He was asked about cryptocurrency coins, and this is what he said.
I wonder if any of these companies you entering the space just because it's hot and there's a lot of funding versus the ones that will still be here, like 2 to 5 years later.
95% are gonna die.
Yeah.
95% are going to die. Yeah. But there's also entertainment in watching companies die too.
There's entertainment. Oh man, that's so evil. At least you get to learn from it, right?
And yeah, I do agree with Do Kwon. Most of these coins will fail that are out there, all of these shit coins. And it is kind of hilarious to watch. What makes it even extra hilarious is he did that old businessman thinking that the leopards won't eat their face. He's shitting on all the coins. He's like, oh, most of them are gonna fail, but it's gonna be entertaining to watch. And then his coin and platform is the one that failed and is entertaining to watch. It's just bravo. You are Lehman Brothers levels, Enron levels of big brain stupidity. Like there, I'm pretty sure Elon Musk is gonna be back. Is gonna be that soon. So let's take a look at what their recovery plan is here. So he said at this time there's still $7 billion worth of UST. Value of the token has fallen to essentially zero. Even if the peg were eventually to, yay, pegging, restore after the last marginal buyers and sellers have capsulated, the hold on Luna has been so severely been liquidated and diluted that we lack the ecosystem to build back up from the ashes. While decentralized economy does not need decentralized money, UST has lost too much trust with its users to play a role. So it remains, while the UST is central narrative Terra's growth over the last year, the Terra ecosystem and community is what's worth preserving. Sounds like they're cutting and running, to be honest. Build one of the most vibrant developer ecosystems in crypto, blah, blah, blah. So their thing, and this is why the tokens has gone back up to nearly $1 now. And some even are thinking it might even go over $1. So their whole goal is to reconstitute the chain to preserve not the coins, but the community, but mainly the developer ecosystem. So, yep, they're going to do 400 million to Luna holders. That's $1 tick before the down peg on all the different exchanges. 400 million to UST holders pro rata. 100 million to Luna holders final moment at the chain halt, and 100 million to the community pool. All Luna besides third-party transactions should be staked on the network general state, and the network should incentivize community. Feature of Terra Network, the rallying cry for Terra community has always been a decentralized economy to decentralize money. This is an exciting vision, and while UST has not been successful at Terra community before, yeah, they're cutting and running. They basically admitted that their whole UST thing it doesn't work. It's been completely blown apart and is dead, and they're not going to use that anymore. So what they make next, I have no idea. Let's see. And what they essentially did was they briefly halted the Terra blockchain for 2 hours on Thursday, and they keep doing mini halts like we had before. Let's see. Quan's planning on endorsing a Terra community proposal that will increase the amount of Luna that could be minted by 4 times. So they basically took off the cap. So instead of 100 million a day, it's now roughly 400 million a day. And so by including the minting capacity, Luna's price would be susceptible to dropping even more. Indeed, plummeted significant yesterday. So it's like basically seesawing back and forth, and now it's basically evening itself out. Just one giant fucking mess here. Let's read. So let's see. And again, this completely wrecked the entire market to the point where, while I don't have the article up, one of the things that was written was that Coinbase got particularly hugely affected, and because people stupidly use Coinbase's own centralized wallets for everything, they did note that if Coinbase went under, a lot of people would lose all of their cryptocurrency or huge chunks of it, and that would even further destabilize the entire market. That would essentially crash the entire market, and cryptocurrency would just be a footnote in history. That's how much it's. So it's absolutely amazing how, like, one coin, one guy with his one coin and his one blockchain nearly killed every single other coin and blockchain, literally because they put an arbitrary cap where it didn't need to be, and they never thought that people would pull $2 billion worth of assets, which is actually over their backup of their backup. It's insane here. This is a speculation right here from a user on Twitter named Ochain Wizard about that. If this was a malicious attack, and if so, how it could have been a malicious attack. It says how to make crypto attacking the third largest stablecoin, Soros style. Which I'm like, really, dude? Like, are you really gonna do that QAnon shit? Everyone's talking about the UST attack right now, including that, but no one's talking about how much more money the attacker made. Luna Foundation starts buying BCT to back up EST, start accumulating BCT on March 23rd, and by March 26th had 1 billion plus that, which is the 1.5. That is the leg 1 that could be made for the attack. Second leg comes in the form of the 4-pool flax announcement for UTS on April Fools. There you go. This had a second leg needed to help execute the strategy in capital efficient way. We don't know when the attacker, he's assuming it's an attacker. I think this was just people being market stupid. Because another thing too is that what cryptocurrency has done, and also fiat apps like Robinhood and stuff, is that it's done the what do I call it? It's done the gay bear I'm a DJ problem, which is that every gay bear, when they make a playlist, they all of a sudden think they're a professional DJ. It's like when everyone gets a fucking crypto wallet, they all think that A, they're Elon Musk, which Elon Musk is not even Elon Musk, and 2 is that they all think they're like big brain investors and they can like short GameStop and everything and like that. No. You still need to have training. You still need to have experience. You still need to know what they're doing. And I think that's honestly how the 2 billion things happen. The 2 billion in UST fallout happened. Let's see. Attacker borrowed 100 BTC to start the position. Other than that, it was sold to Quan's buying. LGFS bought 15K's worth of Bitcoin between March 27th and April 11th. So you have roughly 4.2 billion short position buyout. Over at the same time, the attacker builds 1 billion OTC position in UST. The stage is now set to create a run on the bank and get paid for your BTC short. Your Bitcoin short. In anticipation of the 4-pool, LFG initially removes 150 million from the 3-pool liquidity. The liquidity was pulled on May 8th, and then the attacker used 350 million of UST to drain curve liquidity. This is crazy. Like, even if this isn't an attack, this is nuts. It only starts to depeg down to 0.97 lows. LFG begins selling BTC to defend the peg, causing a downward pressure on Bitcoin while it runs on the UST. So basically, by using Bitcoin, since they're using Bitcoin as the water in the fire hose to put it out, that also means because of the amount of Bitcoin they're using, that tanks Bitcoin. If Bitcoin starts tanking, all the other related cryptocurrencies start tanking, and then you get that cascade effect, which caused the giant crash in the first place. With curve liquidity drain, the attacker used the remaining of their 1 billion position start living on the Binance as withdrawals on Anchor turned into concern and panic. This caused a real depeg as people fled to the exits, hence the 2 billion. This is crazy. If you want to read the whole thread on like if this was an attack, how this could have been a coordinated attack, I'm going to put the entire tweet thread, and I've already retweeted it in the chat. As a summary to, oh, one last fun thing that apparently also happened. This is translated from a Korean newspaper. Everything was so bad that like on the second day of the destabilization, some identified masked person found the home of Mr. Do-hyung and rang his doorbell and left. It says here, the assailant knocked on the door and of his wife, and then she said, "Is her husband in her house?" and then fled. And so they've requested police emergency in South Korea to police patrol their area and shit to like happen. So I don't know if this is directly related to all of this, but again, he's been having a bad day, and this is what happens when you get overconfident and start running your mouth, basically. So as a summary, and then maybe we'll try to run this test net, and hopefully the computer won't crash. What happened this week with the crypto crash was that you had Terra, which was a whole blockchain system with protocols that basically tried to manifest a decentralized stablecoin, which normally sounds like they're odds at each other. Is decentralized because it's allegedly because it's outside the foundation. There's no like main bank or anything, but it is centralized in that it's in a weird way in that instead of it being directly like most stable coins is backed by directly a fiat currency or a fiat object. They created two tokens, a Terra USD Terra that's based on USD and Luna, and then used algorithms so that when one falters, they could burn the other and basically balance itself out. Unfortunately, they made the mistake of capping the amount of burnout because they didn't think they'd be able to reach those numbers, as well as the way the market would happen. And they also made the mistake of using the biggest still cryptocurrency on the planet, Bitcoin, as a reserve just in case shit hits the fan. And basically what happened was, in short, somehow in the market, $2 billion's worth of one of the two coins was pulled out. This was more than what the Bitcoin was in order to use the Bitcoin that destabilized Bitcoin itself, which then destabilized the rest of the markets because they couldn't burn enough of the other coin, UST to Luna, to compensate for it. And by using Bitcoin as well as Terra Luna being a huge segment of the market of places like Coinbase and Binance, it caused a bunch of problems. In short, because of one man's overconfidence.
I wonder how many of these companies you think are entering the space just because it's hot and there's a lot of funding versus the ones that will still be here, like 2 to 5 years later.
95% are going to die.
Yeah.
95% are going to die. Yeah. But there's also entertainment in watching companies die too.
There's entertainment. Oh man, that's so evil. At least you get to learn from it, right?
Because of that, we got this.
Crypto obviously right now getting crushed.
Investors getting jolted by volatility rippling through the crypto world.
Tonight, a massive sell-off of cryptocurrency, erasing more than $200 billion from the entire market in a single day.
Bitcoin is down more than 50% from the high.
1 minute it looks like the market's going to rip. The next minute it looks like the market's going to dip. And I don't know what in the world's going on, so I'm out no mas.
The price of Bitcoin plunging to its lowest level in 16 months. The second largest digital currency, Ether, tanking below $2,000 a coin, down more than $1,000 from a month ago. The numbers sending some investors spiraling, fearing they could lose it all.
In total, it seems crazy to say, but I'm down around $35,000.
I actually lost over half my portfolio.
I've lost many big amounts of money.
One of the hardest hit coins, Luna, erasing 99% of its value, now worth nearly nothing.
I lost 1.6 million on Luna, and then I put in another 200K and I lost that as well.
I mean, this is the definition of a black swan event. This is the Lehman Brothers collapse of crypto.
What is happening right now?
A lot of people are in a world of hurt right now, and they're getting a
rude awakening of what it's like to be in the crypto markets again. Crypto is a roller coaster, so you gotta buckle up and enjoy the ride.
Christine Lee covers the crypto market for CoinDesk. She says the crypto sell-off mirrors what's happening in the overall stock market, with investors fleeing as fears over soaring inflation and recession grow.
As institutional investors leave the traditional markets, they're also taking money out of cryptocurrencies, and that is causing a huge amplified dive in the crypto markets.
Trading platform Coinbase now warning that if they go belly up, customers could lose all their crypto investments, which aren't technically subject to bankruptcy protections. El Salvador, which began recognizing Bitcoin as legal tender in September and buying it up by the boatload, now facing the possibility of defaulting on the country's debt.
History is filled with almosts.
This as crypto made a huge PR bet, spending big on high-profile ads like this one starring Matt Damon.
Fortune favors the brave.
They went all in on the Super Bowl, too, with heavy hitters like Larry David.
It's a safe and easy way to get into crypto. I don't think so.
And LeBron James lending their celebrity to the craze.
We going to the league.
And it didn't stop there. Crypto.com spent $700 million for naming rights to the Staples Center. Crypto exchange FTX spending $135 million to rename the home of the Miami Heat. Investors fearing all that ad money could turn into line.
Where do things go from here?
Those who have survived previous crypto winters have seen the light again.
Do we have a sense of how long that will take?
We have no idea.
All right, so for more on this crypto winter, Priscilla Thompson joins us now live from here in 30 Rock. So Priscilla, you've been tracking investor reaction, talking to experts all day. What's your sense on the impact this is having on people's bottom line?
So yeah, it's a kind of just absolutely goddamn amazing how essentially one jackass and their coin, basically build up a really good ecosystem of developers and investors and a bunch of other people, only for very obvious short sights when you see how it's overall structured to just have it where whether it's an attack or just market reaction, the whole thing fails, and then it takes the rest of its ecosystem and environment with it. Like, it's just amazing how every single cryptocurrency and DeFi platform and NFTs, which were already failing as they are affected by this. It's absolutely amazing. And the weird, sad part is that this was all the stuff that Satoshi Nakamoto hated and feared, and why he tried to create, or they tried to create, cryptocurrency in the first place to avoid all of this. So I think the harsh reality is, yeah, there's a couple of minor ones, such as that stable coins are not actually truly fully stable, that cryptocurrency is full of scams, and that even with the best intentions things can fail. But I think the big thing about this is a reminder that that it's called cryptocurrencies. I think too many people focus on the crypto part and they forget about the currency part, meaning it's finance, it's a market. Cryptocurrency is fiat currency, okay? It might have some unique takes on it. It might be, depending on the design, a bit more transparent, a bit more private, a bit more decentralized. But every single problem that you have ever seen in the fiat financial world, you are now seeing and are going to see in the cryptocurrency world. And that is just a rule of nature, because the one thing that cryptocurrency and fiat currency have in common, they're both currencies, meaning they're both finance. And everything that can go right and wrong in finance will go wrong or right in both of those fields. So I think we're going to end this by just doing a quick test on to see if we can run the testnet. I do want to run again and to let everyone know that, which we will say that when we do raid another channel on Twitch, I will announce that, but we are going to do that. So if you're on Twitch, stay tuned. And then once again, I'm going to bring up, and I'm also going to make a post about this, that I covered the whole what happened with the Roe V Wade cryptocurrency, where a bunch of Christians financed their own Christian propaganda by making their own freaking coin years ago. It's something that a lot of people don't realize, and that's helped kind of influence the privacy, and human right hellscape that we're in right now with the overturning of Roe V Wade. And if you want to use cryptocurrency for good, I have just posted again in chat the link in the giving block that will allow you to download send cryptocurrency directly to the Medical Students for Choice. Let me try to send that again. Okay. The Medical Students for Choice, which trains doctors and medical personnel on identifying what abortions are, when to do it and not do it for patients, and then how to do the actual procedures and insurance and finances and all of that. Really good group of people. Plus, they support, brothers like me. So let's just I'm curious, and we're just gonna see if we can do this test net using the Terra Python, which is the SDK that's entirely based on Python. So apparently, oh, let me get the terminal on first. It should be in here somewhere. Here we go. Let me turn off the browser. All right. I know it says paint. I'm gonna fix that someday. It's the same thing with the originally I was supposed to have a list here of also of all the cryptocurrencies we use, and like that's unfortunately not going to happen. I'll have that in the next episode, and I will let everyone know what the next episode is. So we're just gonna do a quick thing here. So apparently the Terra SDK can be installed in the virtual environment using pip. I'm going to, as a preliminary, GitHub this all over and go in the folder just to make sure I'm all sane. So we're gonna hold on, my brain's not working. What am I doing? Ah. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're gonna clone this over. Sorry, I had a little break. This is why I've been taking breaks too. Again, partied way too hard last night. So we're gonna git clone this URL, and hopefully that shouldn't take very long. Seems to be like a medium-sized type programming database file. So 69, nice. All right, so we're going to cd into Terra Pi, and everything should be in there. So the next step is apparently we can install this through pip. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to do pip u Terra SDK. So we're going to do pip install. Oh, sorry. Sudo pip install. Hopefully I won't actually need the sudo, but I just do that as a habit. -u for universal Terra SDK. Making sure I typed that all correct. Yes, I did. Oh, did we not install pip? Hold on. Oh, I'm dumb. Apparently we never installed pip because I'm really stupid. So we're going to give it like a minute or two in order to install all of that. Pip is the other. I used to, maybe it's improved. I used to have, at least on Arch Linux, headache using pip. So let's try this. So we're going to do the, we're going to install the SDK. Let's see how long this takes. If it takes a little bit too long, we'll end the episode, and I'll try to do it. It shouldn't really take that long. And hopefully we won't have any memory issues. Everything seems to be in the low megabytes and kilobytes, so. Because we're not running like the super huge things, where it's like a gig and stuff like that. That's going to drive me crazy. All right, so now we're building the dependencies. It's just funny because I'm going to try to install Poetry because they requested it. If it's not, then I'll just, if it's not already pre-installed, I'll install it then. I'm going to use this time because I should have said this throughout the episode, but again, I'm so tired and everything. Oh, man. All right, so my goal, which is going to be very hard for DEF CON, because Hope's probably not going to have any cryptocurrency stuff because, they're smart. DEF CON has multiple villages and stuff, so this is going to be hard for me to do. But basically, I need to learn to, not, enjoy myself going out, drinking, talking with friends, dancing and stuff, and then try to do a Crypto Barons episode. That's not going to happen. All right, so the dependency should already be installed, but I am going to install Poetry anyhow, so We're going to do a pip install poetry. See if anything pops up for that. I hope I spelled it correctly. Okay, so it wasn't installed, so I'm glad I did that. And so this is going to actually download poetry itself, and then if I type in, I believe it's, I then type in the name of the application in pip and install, and then that does the clean install of it. But like I was saying, so you know, oop. Up, Launchpad. Yeah, I don't have a Launchpad installed. All right, we're still gonna try. So I think that's how you do it there. It's probably not going to properly install because, again, I saw that Launchpad is not installed. All right. I'm going to continue on. Hopefully this doesn't knock off the stream. I don't think it's going to go because we don't have a Launchpad installed. I thought I had it installed, but maybe I didn't. All right, so we're going to now do the test for the data classes, and then I think we're good. So if everything works correctly, we should do make test, and hold on to your butts. Up, we had an error. That Makerfire error, that's the Launchpad, because I don't have a Launchpad installed. But I was just curious to see if we were able to run the thing first, so I'm actually content with that not doing, because Launchpad's going to take forever to install on screen. I wasn't even going to do like the test nets and the main net just because of the requirements. But, you know, at least we got to kind of see like how the whole Python system is set up and everything. So yeah, let's go back to face mode here. I'm sorry if I seem enthusiastic. I was very interested in this topic. It's just I am so tired from last night. Plus I had to kill I literally had to do some debugging in the house. I killed 2 flies while the stream was going on. But yeah, that's it for Crypto Barons today. Just as a quick recap of what we did, our main topic was we figured out how the crypto crash worked and happened. Basically, we had to learn an entire ecosystem that was really popular for a while that has now lost its popularity and its trust by many others, called Terra, which had its own weird hybrid decentralized stablecoin system using 2 different types of coins, UST and Luna, and that we looked at how they were both set up with the Anchor protocol and figured out the flaws, that whether it was an attack or just due to, you know, fuck it, we'll do it live, general human stupidity, they managed to essentially lose 2 billion worth of their value, in which the Bitcoin backup reserves not only could recover that, but because they were using the Bitcoin backup reserves and that that Terra Luna was also a huge section of the market, like with Coinbase and Binance and stuff like that, then proceeded to cascade across the rest of the markets and now has horribly dipped and tanked every single cryptocurrency out there. And even if, because Luna is now stable again, it's up to nearly $1, might even go over $1, but even with all of that, all the way they bailed out that, which was essentially raising the cap for burning the amount of coins, the trust system, it's like with computer hacks where a lot of people are like, well, they fixed the thing. Yeah, but the trust is now gone. There's some things where if you just screw up once, that's really all it takes, and just no one will trust in your thing again. Look at McAfee. They got rid of McAfee years ago, but because the McAfee software people still have that name, people will always think of the sperm whale crypto fucker, and that's why no one really has a high opinion of them anymore. So again, it's like, basically Terra Luna is screwed unless a miracle happens. And then again, there's a lot of people in crypto world that are sadly really gullible. So we'll see if that convention happens in Texas or not. And and basically, again, this is just a huge lesson to the cryptocurrency community of like, wake up, guess what? Just like the way fiat is, you're a financial institution, and in the same way there's been many economic crashes throughout human existence and stuff, you guys are going to go through the same thing. So you better prepare for that. You better prepare for that both as like a user end as well as the type of infrastructure and finance systems you're setting up, because those who do not learn from the past or learn from their cousins are doomed to repeat it. So that's all for this episode. Again, as I was trying to say before, if you like the content that you see so far, you can like, share, and subscribe to us. Our main platforms are Twitch, DLive, and YouTube. No follows today, but I was just happy with sort of it seems like a bunch of people are watching, like really learning from this. Our website is still unfortunately down, so if you do, because we're doing a bunch of maintenance and updates on it, it's been like a month because I've been delayed on a lot of things. If you want to keep up with us, our main blog is up there. We're actually going to be making three major blog posts this week, including our next meeting details are going to be, as well as two cool, fun sort of projects that we've been meaning to post for a while, so you can check us out there. If you want to stay up to date, in addition to lecturing and subscribing with us for free, which will give you notifications, you can also keep up on our social media. Here is the link tree for all of those. Our two most popular ones are on Twitter at DEFCON21NJ and DEFCON201 on Instagram, but we're on many different things, including Mastodon and Minds.com and GitHub, and we really need to get back on TikTok at some point, but we're on all of those. And what was I going to get to? Oh, I also forget to remind that even though I don't have the list of cryptocurrencies, if you are watching this on DLive and you have, I'm trying to remember the name of it. You have BTT. I said BBC. Oh my God. British Broadcasting Company, yes. But if you have BTT, Tron tokens and stuff, we do have the address button where you can directly send that stuff to. You could also just send us lemons as well, both physically and the digital version. So that's it for our show. Just giving you a heads up of episodes. I'm not going to be doing Master of Unlocking tomorrow. Just because, again, you saw how sleepy I was today. I have even more stuff to do tomorrow. More likely, I'm probably going to stream that on the 29th, maybe the 22nd, 29th. Maybe I'll do a Monday one, 23rd. I will make an announcement of when Master Unlocking is going to happen, because it's going to at least happen once in May, and then it's going to go back to normal schedule, I promise, in the rest of June. I'm especially excited for June because I get to do Pride theme ones. Our next Crypto Barons, we do Crypto Barons every second and fourth Saturday of the month. So our next one will be on the 28th, closing out the month. Should be on the Anchor protocol, so it'll be kind of a sequel following up here, but who knows? Maybe a new thing will change. Maybe I'll decide to put something else there because I have so many topics to cover. But I will announce that in the days leading up to the 28th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our meeting, we're going to announce meeting details on the 20th, and then we plan to have our meeting on the 27th, so stay tuned. I will also mention that this is kind of like, I guess, Crypto Barons Month. We are going to make an announcement in the next couple of days for a physical meetup live stream for Crypto Barons, because it will be Bitcoin Pizza Day, and we have an awesome place where we can combine our cryptocurrency as well as pizza, where in addition to me talking and broadcasting from there about the topic, including explaining what Bitcoin Pizza Day is and celebrating it, it'll also be an opportunity for anyone who wants to actually come in person and talk on the live stream about cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies and the current news and stuff going on with them. You'll be able to actually interact with me in live and be on the stream and stuff. So stay tuned for those announcements. That would be on the 22nd, which is when Bitcoin Pizza Day is. So yeah, and also next month is Polkadot Decoded, so that will also be another special. So yeah, so you're getting not only another episode of Crypto Barons, but you're getting a special in the same month. That's really cool. And yeah, again, that's it for the show. Please like, share, and subscribe on Twitch, DLive, and YouTube. If you're on YouTube, make sure to click that bell, turn on all notifications, because them too, but YouTube is pretty fucking terrible, and for some reason does do that on default. Stay tuned. Again, I will announce when the next Master of Unlocking is. Our next Crypto Barons. The next episode will be on the 28th. On the 22nd will be a hybrid in-person and live streaming for Bitcoin Pizza Day, so stay tuned for that announcement. Stay tuned for our blog in addition to our meetup, a couple of other posts that I think you'll all find exciting, including our Red Team browser little tool that we use and stuff like that. And the unveiling of our new improved website. So we have a lot of stuff going on. Thank you for all watching. I hope you all learned a lot. If you're on Twitch, stay tuned, because we're going to raid another channel. Make sure you say hi to them. There's another thing I'm adding. Got this from Kid Icarus. If it's your birthday today, happy birthday. I should have said that in the beginning, but I forgot to. I apologize. That's it for our show. I'll see you next time. Hack the planet, Dirty Jersey represents. And remember, if you are making a Bitcoin or cryptocurrency project or any project, when you become overconfident and start actively shitting on your rivals, you have now built up the cosmic karma where you are going to be on that shit list. You saw what happened to the people at Terra, right? They were laughing that all the altcoins are going to burn and fail, not realizing that they were the shitty altcoin the entire time that took down the rest of the market. Peace, everyone. Enjoy the music and say hi to who we raid to on Twitch. See you next time.
Hold up, bounce, drop it, bounce, work out, bounce, flex out, bounce, hold up, bounce, drop it, bounce, work out, bounce, flex out, bounce, hold up, bounce, drop it, bounce, work out, bounce, flex out, bounce.